How's it hanging, YouTube? Peter here, Ginger Geordie Geek. Welcome back to the channel for the first of our Saturday night live shows, in which we're going to be covering a whole host of geeky related topics. Now, can't do it alone, so as usual, I'm going to be flanked by some of my good YouTube buddies, and we'll start off with James T. Keegan. How are you doing, James?
Ayo.
Ayo, indeed. Are you well?
I'm very good, man. Saturday. I love
Saturday.
Saturday.
We're losing viewers as we speak.
Right.
Good stuff. Looking forward to me and you have both seen a few films this week, so I'm looking forward to picking your brains on what you think of a couple of them. So that should be good fun. We're also joined by one of our other good YouTube buds, Luke. How are you doing, Luke?
I'm good. I've seen no movies this week, but I'm here for the banter.
Good.
And the spoilers.
Well, there's going to be lots of spoilers. We're going to spoil as many movies and shows for you as possible. We're also going to be talking about comic books and also a bit of the weekly news. So I'm sure you'll have lots to say on that. Now, we've got Mr. YouTube himself, the man who's cracking 1Ks left, right, and centre on all of his channels, JP Venom. How are you doing, bud?
Great. I always wanted to be on SNL.
yeah, the good version, but not the recent one.
The good version.
Yeah. How are you, mate?
All good, mate. Glad to be here. Spend some time for you guys.
Good stuff. And you recently had you've had two very good achievements on your channels, on your multiple channels, haven't you?
Multiples.
So what's been happening there?
Yeah, so we've got 2K on the GP Venom channel. There's a competition on there right now. If you head over, you can check that out. 1K on Let's Go GP, which is my trading card channel. So good stuff. Great stuff.
Well, very pleased for you, mate. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Achievement. Okay, so we've got Von Hoot, but he seems to have hooted off just as we came live there. So I'm sure he will tweet back and say all the kind of owl analogies and hoots and stuff. It's wasted. I'm sure he'll be back soon. He's flown the coop. Very good. Well done, James. How could that one get to laugh, but mine don't? Never mind.
Mine's funny.
So let's see who we've got in the chat. We've got good old StreamYard. We've got Ian Carter. Thank you very much for joining, Ian. Nice to see you, bud. We've got Luke from Hyra Collectibles doing both duties. Well done. We've got Fuzzy. Nice to see you, Fuzzy. Thank you for joining. And we've got Captain Comics. Ahoy, mate. Nice to see you again, bud. So I'm sure we're... yeah, see, that's the joke of the night. I'm sure when Von Hoot joins, he'll be back straight away. So we'll look forward to keeping an eye on the screen for him. Right. So, like I said, this is the first of our Saturday show. Sorry. Every time, Fuzzy just kind of sits in the chat. And every now and then he just chucks stuff. And if you're on any other streams, like Ben's stream the other day, you'll notice that I just start chuckling. Because I always have a little bit giggle at whatever he's putting on.
It's a staple now. It's a staple of the show. We have to.
But it's embarrassing when Ben's in full flow and I start laughing, and I don't think he realizes what I'm laughing at. And it's normally Fuzzy. Okay, so let's crack on. Like I say, we're going to be talking geeky news. Now, I have tried to remove the news that we've already talked about on other shows like Ben's show. So we've got some fresh news to discuss tonight. We're going to talk about what we've been watching, and we're going to focus a little bit on action movies as well. We're going to talk about what we've been buying and also recommend some reading for this week. So I've been reading a few of this week's comic books, and I know you guys have got a few recommendations to check out as well. But let's start off with the news. So we're going to be talking about John Wick later on, but it's not all smashed the box office. It's already, as it says there, the best opening for an R-rated movie since 2020. And Lionsgate execs wants Keanu Reeves to star in more John Wick films. Now, that's an interesting one. We'll not go into spoilers just yet, but based on the end of the movie, that's interesting. We knew that there was the Ballerina movie coming out and there was going to be a Continental series of movies. It was inevitable, this, wasn't it? That they were going to make more movies?
Well, I think originally they were going to film 4 and 5 back to back. And then because of COVID, I think they said, we'll just do 4 and we'll do 5 down the road. But yeah, it's interesting with the storyline, where the story goes, to continue it, Yeah. We'll see.
Now, Luke, I know you haven't seen it yet, but have you seen it, JP?
Yeah, I watched it. Apparently there was a deleted mid-credit scene that's not being seen, and it's with Keanu coming out the grave.
Yeah. Spoilers. Yeah.
No, it's not a spoiler because it got deleted.
Oh.
So it might not happen.
No.
So there you go.
Okay.
That was a bit of
It's
a.
not a spoiler.
It's a Keanu and
It's not in
Grave.
the
I think
film. Oh, yeah.
So,
Right.
yeah.
Apologies,
That one
everybody.
pretty well, sorry, that just pretty much flew over my head.
Yeah.
Yeah. But,
Engage brain first before open thy mouth.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't quite know how I feel about this because, like I say, we're going to talk in more detail about John Wick in a bit.
Spoilers.
But spoilers, yeah. But is it getting a bit samey now? Von Hoot?
Hello. Evening.
How are
all.
you, sir? Sorry, did you pop off to make yourself a nice refreshment?
The internet went just completely down. It was mad.
What were you making a refreshment in?
Oh, you can. I don't know. Have a look at this.
That's a stunning mug. Well, if anybody wanted to buy one of those mugs, where could they get them from?
Well, I'm glad you asked me that, Peter. You can go to our spring store and buy a variety of merch. We even have leggings with my face on it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've lost everybody. I mean, I'm actually wearing my Von Hoot underpants as we speak.
There we go.
But
you're wearing them inside out, right?
No, it's got a strategically placed beak for easy access. It's very good, very handy, well thought out. We're just talking John Wick. We haven't gone into the details of the movie yet because we're going to be talking about that in a bit. But we're just saying that they've more or less confirmed that Keanu is going to come back with more movies. How do you feel about that, Von Hoot? Because I'm not sure if I think we've had enough of Keanu now.
I'd definitely watch more Keanu John Wick. Why not? Do we need it? I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure I needed the second one, so
yeah.
I'll watch it. Why not?
No, his work in these movies is one of the most impressive things about them, I think. So,
except for the acting, you are absolutely right. Yeah.
Well, yeah. The stunt work, but that's part of it, I think, as well. Like I'm very much happy to keep him in the driving seat.
Yeah.
For this franchise.
I mean, he's not a young guy anymore either, and the physicality of this role is stunning. Absolutely stunning.
I think it showed a bit in this film. Actually, he's getting slower. Yeah,
I thought that as well, but I also think the way they do the action in John Wick is sort of tailored for that because he can look all grizzled and beaten up and slower, and it's fine, because he's taking on the world. Yeah. So,
Ian's saying we need another Bill and Ted movie. I enjoyed the last Bill and Ted made. I thought it was all right.
Am I the only person that really wanted John Wick 4 and The Matrix 4 to be the same movie, regardless of what ticket you bought?
Yeah, that would be quite good. Yeah,
like that should have been it. This John Wick should have been the machine's way of keeping Neo busy. So they've put him in his own program where he's still defending a loved one and everything else. He's still going through his revenge, but that keeps him separate to the rest of the machine world.
I mean,
there's so many actors that are similar across the films.
That sounds like What If waiting to be told. Luke.
Yeah,
let's do What If John Wick. Excuse me. Fuzzy's saying he stopped at John Wick 2. He was worried it was going to be a bit like Die Hard and go on too long. The first one was nice and fresh. Fuzzy, I would say if the opportunity arises, mate, I would watch 3 and 4. 4, it definitely could, and we'll get to it in a bit. But it could do with trimming. But there's some sequences in there which are just absolutely breathtaking.
These movies, as it's only gotten better as the movies have gone on. I think 2 is improvement over the first one, and 3, So it's not. I don't think it's running out of steam. I think it just keeps getting better.
I mean, 3 gets a lot of jip, but I love the dog scene. And as I said on the show we did on Monday, James, the people who do these John Wick movies get them doing Punisher. Get an MCU John Wick version of Punisher. Tremendous. Yeah. This is interesting. So this is the Ghostbusters Firehouse news that's kind of fresh out this week with some casting news. Now, James Acaster.
That's a strange
that's a weird one.
Yeah.
That surprised me, I have to say. He doesn't strike me as Ghostbusters material, but
does he act in, other than, I'm sure there's some kind of sitcom he writes or something that he stars in, I'd imagine.
I've only ever really seen him in panel shows and things, and he's got a very kind of I don't know. He's just.
But is this to be an actual Ghostbuster, or is this to be like a side character like Peck or something? Like,
That's a side.
idea.
I'd imagine the side
No
character.
idea.
'Cause they're all kids, aren't they?
Yeah, or he might
Yeah.
even be a ghost. Do you know what I mean? He might be.
Could be.
I'm assuming one of these is the villain. Then who would you pen for that?
Well, not necessarily. Not necessarily. Patton Oswalt's superb. I like him and everything. So I am quite pleased about that. Fuzzy's still about John Wick. You see, he disagrees. He thought 2 looked amazing, but the story lacked. Yeah. The action was incredible, but Fuzzy. But yeah, worth watching, I think. Any views on any of those? And guys, what do you think about that?
I didn't even know this was a thing.
What, the movie?
Yeah. I never even heard about it.
It has been quite quiet, to be honest. There's not been a lot of news about it, but it's coming out relatively shortly.
Yeah, I'll have to look into this one.
I mean, none of that blows us away, I have to say. I don't know about you guys. Anything there jump out at you? Are you excited about this?
I really enjoyed Afterlife, so like I'm not a huge Ghostbusters fan, like, or have any real attachment to the series, but the last one I thought was excellent, so I'm hoping this maintains that kind of quality.
Luke, you're a big Ghostbusters fan. Are you excited about this?
I am a big Ghostbusters fan, but I'm excited when it's here, and then as soon as it disappears, I kind of forget about it again. Like it's one of those franchises, and I feel a bit similar to like Indiana Jones in that sense. Like while it's around and the toys are in the shop and the comic books are out and the video games are here, the merch goes crazy, and then once as quick as it comes, it's gone again, which is a bit of a shame because to maintain that hype. I love Ghostbusters, but again, with this firehouse idea, it surfaces its head every now and then with a bit of news and then just disappears.
Yeah. It's interesting you mentioning Indy there, because I was quite flat after watching the teaser trailers and stuff like that. But the trailer was on before Dungeons and Dragons on Friday, and I have to say it blew us away. It looked very, very good. Harrison actually looked like they were. My big worry with the Indiana Jones movie was that they were going to try and make it that Harrison Ford could still do all of these somersaults and all that kind of jazz. And it doesn't look like they're going to do that. It looks like he's going to be an old man for a large part of the movie, which I'm happier with, because I don't.
Yeah.
Are you excited about that? About Indiana Jones? Von Hoot, are you an indie fan?
I am an indie fan. I can tell you this much. When we watched all the trailers that came out of the Super Bowl, the Magic Badger couldn't cared less about the Flash, but when Indy came on, she went mental.
Really?
So yeah, she's super excited for it. So it's doing something right.
You see, that makes me really happy, because that's probably someone who's not got a massive nostalgia attachment to it, but is just attached to because I was a big fan of Nicolas Cage in the National Treasure movies, that kind of action adventure. And I don't think we've had that kind of movie for a long time, really. Treasure hunting kind of. I mean, there was that incredible one that we talked about, James. What was that one called again?
I was just waiting for this to come up. Uncharted, yes.
Yeah, that was a master.
Of course.
I actually didn't mind that. Like,
good man.
Putting aside the game, because the game is amazing. Yeah. It's not as good as the game. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Just jump into the chat. Fuzzy saying that Namal is very good in Chippendales. I've seen the trailers for that, Fuzzy. I was going to watch it. It looked quite interesting, actually. That's all about the kind of the deceit and the lies. And I think, I don't know the backstory, but I think they steal the idea of the Chippendales from his character. Prefer his dramatic acting to his comedy. He was all right in Eternals. He was in that movie.
But he's just sort of doing his shtick in that. You
yeah.
know? Like, I don't want to see him do shtick. I like seeing him being an actor, doing different things. So,
and Ian's saying he loved the whip scene in Indy. Yeah, very, very funny. A nice twist on it. Other news. So I'm just going to shift the setting. Yeah. We've talked about this before, but Incredible Hulk, Liv Tyler's going to be reprising her role as Betty Ross in Captain America New World Order. JP, is that something that excites you? Or?
It's great to see Liv Tyler back as Betty. I've seen the photo of the graveyard.
Yeah.
So that pretty much intrigued us as to why a character would be back for this. But everything I'm hearing about Captain America New World Order sounds absolutely brilliant.
It does.
So,
it does.
Yeah,
It's a Hulk sequel, just without Hulk. Like that's what I'm excited to see about it. You know,
Yeah.
Leader and Liv Tyler, and hopefully Ty Sheridan comes back.
because the thing is, everybody's been wanting a Hulk sequel for such a long time. So
Yeah.
this is like the closest thing we can get to it.
Yeah,
Good on them. Good on Marvel.
I hope we get a proper Hulk. I don't want intelligent Hulk.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
I'm sick of intelligent.
They've got to
Hulk now
make
as well.
that better.
Yeah.
It can't be like Professor Hulk. It has to be real Hulk, or else what's the point? Like,
yeah.
100% agree.
Good stuff. Yeah, I am looking forward to this. This was a total surprise for me. I wasn't expecting her back at all. It never even hit my even radar that she would come back, to be honest. And speaking of people coming back, Luke, we've got Kingpin in all his glory there. Are we excited about seeing him back?
Yeah, very excited. He's a lot more slimmed down again now, isn't he? Like compared to his Hawkeye appearance, where he's all like beefed up. So again, I find it quite. I'm not sure where best to place this.
How do you mean where to place it?
So, given like the time frame and all that lot, like for where I don't know why he was so beefed and jacked up in the Hawkeye series, and so is this before or after those events? Like, I'm not sure where this is set.
I don't know. We might get some flashbacks. Is that what you're thinking? That this is because there was another rumor, and I'm very aware sometimes that all this stuff that comes on Instagram and all the rest of it's just bollocks. Do you know what I mean? And so I try not to share too much of it, just in case it is just crap. But there was a one article saying that the push of the next Spider-Man movie is going to be Kingpin as the mayor, waging war against vigilantes. So Spider-Man, Daredevil, all that lot. Now that would be very interesting because I think Marvel does need to get back to street level mechanics rather than, you know,
it's been circulating a lot. All that. I think Vincent D'Onofrio and Charlie Cox have been doing quite a few cons and actually talking about the series. So it's going to be in 2 parts, I believe.
Because it's quite a runtime, isn't it? It's quite a length.
There's 18 episodes. But apparently it's going to be dark as well. So
I hope so.
Fingers crossed.
Fuzzy's saying because of the pandemic, he's been working out, hasn't he? Bit like myself. I think Fuzzy would agree. I've honned myself into a fit, whatever. But yeah, I think this looks incredible. I can't wait to see this. It's got us excited, I have to say. The Daredevil show has got us excited. What about you, Von Hoot? Are you excited for Daredevil?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm very intrigued to see how Disney handled it compared to the other one, because the other one was, the action sequences in Daredevil on Netflix are top tier fight scenes. So, I mean, it's Disney, so I'm not expecting that, but I would expect, to put some effort in. So,
I think one of the things that's appealing to us probably most is the knowledge that these are going to be relatively, like we say, street level characters. So I'm hopefully not going to get as irritated by shitty CGI as I have in all of the other stuff they've put out recently.
Yeah, it'd be more grounded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe it might feel a bit more cohesive.
Apparently, Kirsten Ritter's supposed to be coming back as Jessica Jones as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I saw that. But it was disappointing that Foggy and Karen Page, those actors aren't coming back.
I wouldn't say never on them characters.
Yeah.
Because they're all part and parcel of Matt.
That made me wonder whether or not that particular show is going to be set during the snap, and that's why they're not present. Maybe they were some of the characters that were snapped away.
Possibly, yeah.
That's a good point, Luke. Yeah, maybe.
Well, I think what I heard is that Daredevil was snapped, and that's how Fisk was able to kind of garner all this power.
Right.
Because Daredevil wasn't around to stop. That's something, a rumor I'd heard anyway.
Good stuff. It would be nice actually to get a bit of a call back to the snap, wouldn't it, in that kind of way? So yeah, looking forward to that. I think that's going to be an interesting one. I don't know what the feck I think of this shit. I mean, are any of you big James Bond fans?
I don't even know who that is.
Yeah, I'm a Bond fan, yeah.
So I'm a big Bond fan. I love a Bond movie. I love the character of M. Ralph Fiennes played him amazingly. And then this comes out, this Daisy May Cooper, and talks to stars M.
Who the hell is this?
Well, yeah, I've got no idea who she is, other than I saw her in something with a brother or something. She's a comedian. and they're trying to bring her in as a bit of a comedic.
This
foil
wasn't released
to
this
them.
morning for April Fool's.
No, this has been out a couple of weeks.
I assume, Peter, this was your April Fool's.
No,
joke on us.
I swear to God, no, I swear to God.
Is it how many sources are covering this?
Loads.
I can't
Loads.
really. I can't imagine there's talks with actors for.
Apparently, they're
Bond roles,
wanting to reinvent Bond, and they're wanting it to be a bit more lighthearted. And she's thought to bring in a bit of character and a bit of comedy to it.
But who is she? I don't even know who she is.
So I've not seen a show, but I think she did a show with her brother or something.
Yeah, she's in on a BBC sitcom. I can't for the life of me remember what it's called. Yeah, hang on, I'll have a quick look.
But I mean, yeah, this took us by surprise. It doesn't do out for me, and as Ian says, bring back Dench. Yeah, I don't mind the actress. Fine, I don't know what she's in. Anything like that. That's not the issue. But saying that you want a comedic M, a more relaxed M, just in terms of Bond, doesn't float my boat. She wrote this country. Never heard of that either.
This
she's
country, yeah.
She's come out since this and said it's not true. So
has she?
Yeah.
Oh well.
I'd imagine they'll get more prestigious actor. I would think for a Bond.
I would have thought so. I would have thought they would want someone with a bit more kind of acting chops. I'm disappointed that Ralph's not going to be in anymore because he was amazing in it.
Yeah.
Cack. Anyway, moving on. Ooh, Blue Beetle trailer this Monday. Has this got anybody excited?
I think this might be a surprise. Because we have no idea. It's something new for one, and like the tone of it, we don't really know what to expect. So this is when I hope like the trailer comes out and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, this looks good." I think it might.
I'm a fan of the character. I do like. I like all the iterations of the character because there's been 3, isn't it? 3 or 4. Luke, are you a Blue Beetle fan?
No, not really. Not anything against it, but just never really gravitated towards it. So yeah, I'll give everything a try.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen some stills of it, and the costume looks very comic accurate to the more modern version of the Blue Beetle rather than the Justice League Europe Ted Cord version. JP, Von Hoot, are you guys familiar with Blue Beetle? Has this got you excited in any way?
I know who Blue Beetle is. I like the actor who's playing him.
Yeah.
The lad out of Cobra Kai, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
But it's DC, and now you think now it's getting rebooted. What's the point?
Yeah, absolutely.
This is one might stick around because they're Booster Gold.
I'll give it a watch. It's a superhero movie. I'm obviously going to watch it. So,
how about you, Von Hoot?
A little bit. I'm more familiar with him from stuff like the Brave and the Bold cartoon.
Yeah,
that kind of thing. I'm vaguely interested. It's one of those ones that if it comes out and gets like rave reviews, then I'll be first in line after them. If you see what I mean.
Yeah.
But if it comes out and nobody seems to care, even after seeing it, then I just won't bother.
Yeah. I wonder if they're hoping that this is a bit like their Iron Man, because the costume kind of, it's like an alien armor, isn't it? And it molds different weapons and different power sets and all that kind of jazz. It'll be interesting. I mean, I think as JP said, it's a superhero movie, so I'll go and see it.
I do sort of in my head anyway. He's sort of a comedic leading character, and that does sort of fit in with James Gunn's sort of appeal as well. So, I mean, I don't know whether it's going to go that route, but it's just the way of.
Depends which version of Blue Beetle it is, but because if it's the Jamie Reese,
I believe it's Jamie Reese.
Yeah, he's. You see, I would be more interested in the Ted Cord Blue Beetle, the blue tights, the friend of Booster Gold and that kind of relationship.
I was going to say because they're doing Booster Gold, aren't they? So we could tie them up together.
Yeah.
Interesting. Fuzzy saying, I'd probably say it in 2026. Don't worry about it, Fuzzy. We'll do a show and we'll tell you all about it. Don't fret. And then this came a little bit left field as well, that Thomas Hayden Church apparently has had a meeting with Marvel and discussed Sandman's return in a future property.
In what, though?
Well, this is it. They hadn't said. He was very hush-hush. All he said was that he met with Marvel and discussed the possibility of a return. So I find that really interesting again because it's a little bit open kind of season at the moment for the Spider-Man universe, I guess.
Yeah.
So his second appearance, right, was in a Fantastic Four issue, wasn't it? Or he was at least up against like a Human Torch. So he could be making like a small guest appearance in a Fantastic Four like montage. But then equally, he wasn't actually part of the No Way Home story, was he? That was all footage that they edited together from previous.
Yeah, he just did the voice. Maybe it's like Spider-Man freshman year or something. He has a voice role in that.
Maybe.
Like, you know,
all I know is Ben is very excited right now.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. I mean, all I'm thinking is, and I know there's all kinds of legality, and I'm sure Luke at the his whiteboard tell all about it. But there's basically after the last Spider-Man movie, it's shit money for them, hasn't it? It's just literally it's been a cash cow. So if you're take your comic fan head out, if you're an exec, you're thinking, hang on a minute, we've got 3 potential Spider-Man universes here to coin in on. It wouldn't surprise me if they're looking at different versions, different movies for all of those guys, if they're willing to come back.
I'm shocked there's been no news on that yet. Like around, we should have got that announcement soon after No Way Home, while the hype is still there.
Yeah, I never understood why Sony didn't jump on the fact that they've got Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire knocking about. Just, then you don't actually need to tie it in with Marvel either. You can just bodge it like you did with Venom.
But also, like they've wanted their cinematic universe for so long, and they've been focusing on these villain origin movies. Whereas that's the answer, isn't it? Do another Andrew Garfield one and do another Tobey one and do the occasional crossover. Then makes more sense.
It's gone very quiet about Craven as well, hasn't it? I've not heard anything about that for a long time.
But that's like October, so like the trailer should be around in a couple months. Like,
have we seen any stills? Have we seen any production stills?
Just set photos. Yeah, there's a whole cast and everything. Like Russell Crowe's in it.
Interesting.
Fuzzy saying, my whiteboard.
Yeah. Fuzzy saying that this will probably never happen again. I'm with you, Fuzzy. I agree, mate. We'll see. It's interesting stuff. I don't know how concrete this is, but Clayface apparently going to be appear in Batman Part 2.
I just heard this was a rumor. I didn't know, or Matt Reeves maybe had said he's interested in Clayface, but I don't think he's been officially confirmed as the villain.
No, there's nothing officially confirmed, but there's 4 or 5 news outlets have said that there's discussions about Clayface.
And I'm seeing artwork and all around.
But for me, this is a massive change in pace from the last Batman movie, because that was very gritty, grounded, to go kind of super villain, certainly.
Unless they massively change the character. Like, I mean, let's just say maybe he's a makeup artist rather than
it's Luke.
Imagine all the pissed off fanboys if that's what they're doing.
But look, I think we did the whole like ultra realistic thing in the Nolan movies. So I kind of want this series to have a bit more of that, like a Poison Ivy who controls plants, or Mr. Freeze, a freeze gun. So I'm
Mr. Freeze done good, like.
Yeah. And if they go to the animated series for Mr. Freeze, you could come with a stunning storyline, couldn't you?
Absolutely.
But again, I'm with you, James. When we did that show about Batman a while ago, I said I like the grounded villains, but also I do like the kind of the bonkersness of Batman. So seeing a live action Clayface would be incredible, and could be really creepy as well. Do you know what I mean? If you don't know who he is, and if you play the vibe of him, not necessarily the monster you've got there, the kind of the guy being anything.
You'd have some great twists in the movie of this person's Clayface the whole time, that kind of stuff. Like, it'd be great.
So I think that'll be an interesting one. Next, we've got this gentleman has been cast now, so this is formal, as the Grim Reaper in the Wonder Man series. Again, a series that's kind of passed me by. I'd heard they were making a Wonder Man series, but I've not seen or heard much about it. Luke, what are you thinking about this one?
I don't really know the character, if I'm being totally honest. Where has he appeared in the past?
Grim Reaper is a classic character who is actually Wonder Man's. I think he's his biological brother, either brother or stepbrother. I can't remember. Who's incredibly jealous of him. And I think in the early Avengers books, he was part of the Legion of Villains or something. I can't remember what they were called, where you had like Dread Knight and all that kind of people. But my understanding, I don't know lots about him, but my understanding is he's actually a dead guy. He's been resurrected, as it were, or something. Basically,
So-
he's got a massive knife in his hand.
I wonder if this is a way for Disney to trial the Punisher chess piece, the skull,
Yeah.
the skull on the front. No, I honestly don't know much about either character. So both the Grim Reaper or Wonder Man. So I'm afraid I really don't know.
I mean, Wonder Man's a really interesting, cool character. If done right, there was a superb series where he was him and Beast had kind of an ongoing, and the humor and the brotherliness between the pair of them was very cool. Von Hoot, are you a fan of Wonder Man? Have you read much of his stuff?
I know very little about Wonder Man, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, I'll watch it.
Yeah,
that's all I've got.
So the background to Wonder Man, and it depends what element they play into in the series. Obviously, is that he's a washed out actor. He's a Hollywood actor, and that was where all the humor came from. I'm trying to make it in Hollywood and things like that. More recently, 10 years ago, he died, and he was resurrected as a being made out of ionic energy by Wanda because she loved him. Yeah. The reason I know a little bit more about him really is because he was in the original run of Guardians of the Galaxy. He was one of the only surviving heroes set in the future. He was called Hollywood because he doesn't age, so he was still alive thousands and thousands of years in the future. But an interesting character. It'll just be interesting to see how they play him out. And again, quite looking forward to seeing this just to see what they do with the characters.
Yeah, like Trevor Slattery is coming back for Ben Kingsley, and Yahya Mateen, who played Black Manta, and he's from Candyman. He's starring in it, so he's an actor I love. So I'm
if Trevor Slattery's coming back, they must be leaning into the actor element of it.
Yeah, I would say so.
It's slightly frustrating because the I can't remember if it was actually filmed or not, but in Guardians 2, there was apparently a promo of the actor. Do you know Nathan Fillion from
Nathan Fillion? Yeah.
Fillion, yeah. He was playing Wonder Man, and he was meant to be in a poster or in a movie trailer or something like that. And I would have loved him to have been playing the character.
He'll always be Captain Hammer to me.
Or DKR, the detachable kid.
Ian, I was going to say it was related to the Vision. So interestingly, mate, you're kind of right. They'll not do this in the series, I wouldn't imagine, but in the comics, the Vision's brain pattern is modeled after Simon Williams, after Wonder Man. So they kind of downloaded his brain pattern into the Vision's body, and that's why there's the love triangle between Wanda, Vision, and Wonder Man. There you go. See, hitting you with the comic knowledge bombs tonight.
There you go,
James. Talk to you about this.
I'm so fucking happy about this. Like, Scott Pilgrim is one of my absolute favorite movies. Directed by Edgar Wright, did like Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead, but it didn't do very well at the box office when it came out. I'm kind of hoping the sequel was stashed, but Netflix has announced now. Yeah, we're getting an anime. Oh, very nice. We're getting an anime film with the entire cast coming back, reprising all their roles. So yeah, I'm stoked about this. I know it's funny because we've been talking lately a bit about anime on like Simon's channel. I'm like, oh, I don't know about this, don't know about that, but like, yeah, I'll be here day one for this one.
Yeah. Fuzzy, that's not correct. Thank you for your attempt, but that's not right. It's really interesting, this bit of news coming up, Luke, because I literally watched this last weekend with all the kids. We had a movie night and watched it because I've seen it multiple times. This is one of my favorite movies. I love it.
Yeah, same.
And I forgot how funny it is. I forgot how un-PC perhaps it is these days, particularly when the vegan police arrest them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just an incredible movie. Von Hoot, is this a film you're aware of?
I love it. Yeah, it's a tremendous film. And I was going to ask, do we know who's directing the anime version?
Edgar Wright's involved in it anyway.
Okay, so, good.
Yeah. But I'm assuming this will take.
It has to be in line with that film, or else I'm out. See what I mean? I'm
curious though if it is a continuation or just doing the movie again just longer. I don't know. Hopefully it's a sequel.
Well, aren't there loads of books? When they just
tons. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Hopefully that's what they do anyway.
Stunning. I mean, I'm really looking forward to this. I love this. Like I said, I've forgotten how much I liked it, and then we'll watch it again.
The soundtrack to that film is phenomenal.
Yeah. We are sex babam. You know. Brilliant.
Chris
So
Evans
funny.
is amazing in it as well.
Yeah,
It's,
he is.
I mean, Luke, you've got the DVD there. I take it you're a fan of this movie.
Yeah, I love this movie. I recently just picked up that DVD actually from my local charity shop just for 20 pence. You know, it was five movies for a pound, so 20 pence. Yeah, the film still holds up. You know, it's really well made, really well put together. Yeah, okay, there's a few little un-PC things in there, but if it was funny then, it's funny now. Like that's the way that you got to look at some of this stuff. It's comedy gold.
Yeah. Michael Cera, that's the guy who plays Scott Pilgrim, isn't it?
Yeah. But like I know like a lot of people think he's kind of unlikable, but I think they play that in the movie itself. Like he's a bit of a dick.
But if you already hate him, that's not going to help. Like,
No.
Yeah. He is unlikable. And I mean, to be fair, the entire premise of the movie is that he's a two-timing prick.
Exactly, yeah. It's just a selfish bastard. I really hope though, like this is really successful and Netflix maybe starts doing live action sequels then.
This is one of those movies, but that you just kind of get. Well, I can't get my head around why it didn't do better at the cinema. You know, because
I don't know. It's just too weird. Maybe like
stellar cast, great action, great soundtrack. Yeah, it's weird.
It's a shame.
Weird.
A lot of them were more unknown at the time as well, though, wasn't they? Like this is much earlier in their careers.
Yeah,
2010. So yeah, Michael Cera just off Superbad, I think, like a year or two before.
And Brandon Roth's character, I just laughed all the way through that. He was superb in it, absolutely superb. Ooh, okay, another one for you, James.
Right. So I've seen a few publications like having like Bill Skarsgård not returning and like Pennywise to be recast. But if you read the interview he's done, basically what he said is, I'm not currently involved. If you don't know, HBO Max is doing an ish prequel series called Welcome to Derry, and it's like a Pennywise origin thing set in the 60s. And all Bill Skarsgård said was, I'm not currently involved with it. So he's not saying he said no to it or the recasting or that has no intention of being in it. He's just said he's not been like approached yet. But like you can't do that, Joe. If Pennywise, like I know you can do like the creature, like it is a shapeshifter, so you can do different kind of things with that. But if you're having Pennywise the clown in it, I think you need Bill Skarsgård for it.
That makes no sense to me at all. That they wouldn't, if they were making the show, that they wouldn't approach him to do it.
Well, they're just not at that stage yet to do casting or anything. Like they don't know how much Pennywise is going to be in it. What's his availability? Are they going to do multiple seasons? That kind of thing, you know. So we'll see.
Interesting. You guys big fans of the It movies?
I've only seen the first one.
That's probably where to stop.
Yes. No, I think the second one has some good stuff in it. It's just not as good as that first movie. That first movie.
What's the original?
Yeah, but the original is the same, Pete. I would say. I mean, the original for me, the first part of the original is far superior to the second part. As soon as you start seeing giant spiders and things like that, it kind of goes a bit downhill.
Yeah, and also when like it's not kids, when it's kids, it's just a lot more effective.
Yeah.
I mean, Ron Hoot, you're a huge horror fan. I know that. Is this the kind of horror you like?
No. Honestly, like I never saw the original, which is really weird because every friend I had growing up loved that the miniseries on the telly, and I've seen the first one of the two films, and it was fine. Like it didn't. It's very soft horror, so it doesn't really. Yeah, a lot of CG in it as well, which is always not going to get me on side. So,
yeah, and it's interesting you're saying that because I think the bits for me that are scariest are when he's in his makeup there. As soon as you start going CGI, and I think that's my problem with the second one. The CGI felt even weaker in the second one, I thought.
There's that bit where the giant like logging statue comes alive and it just looks terrible. Yeah. But that first It movie is like a modern horror masterpiece. I think cemented Pennywise is up there with the best.
So I'm looking forward to this because I do like a horror TV series. I'm hoping it's going to be kind of like an anthology kind of thing rather than a long going story. I haven't got a slide for it, but I did see some news today or yesterday that they're talking about bringing X-Files back. But without Mulder and Scully.
Yeah, I've seen something about that as well. I didn't read too much into it.
I don't think it's something that Disney can do. I think
I was just about to ask,
reach.
is it Disney because it was Fox? Was
Yeah.
it back in the day? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I don't see them being able to capture it.
When was the last movie?
It was they did a TV series after the movie, James.
Did they? Okay.
And it was. I mean, I have to say, I'm a massive X-Files fan from back in the day. When I saw X-Files coming back, I thought, oh god. But then when they said without Mulder and Scully, I actually that's good. I like that.
Yeah.
Because the X-Files worked best for me when it was creature of the week kind of stories, not the ongoing is she pregnant by aliens and all that shit. That just did my head in. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know, that might work better for me, I think. This is an interesting little bit of news. Dan Slott has been rumbling and rumoring about this for a while, trying to encourage people to pick up this issue of Spider-Man because he says it's going to be a massive new character. And it's the introduction of Spider-Boy, a character that apparently has been around for years and years and years in Spider-Man continuity. Anybody heard of this or anybody aware of it?
No, I'm just disappointed that I bit and I bought the issue.
Did you?
Yeah. I saw his tweet and I went, I better buy it then. Because I just buy.
Easily swayed, Luke.
No, because I like Dan Slott, right? There's a lot of people out there.
I like Dan Slott.
A lot of people don't like him. I like Dan Slott, and he's wrote some of my favorite Spider-Man stories. So when he said this, I took note, and it wasn't an expensive issue.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I paid like £4 for it, but it just looks shit. Like to put it bluntly, I don't know about the character. The character might be great, but that's just not a decent cover.
I mean,
why do we need him? Like, what
because there's not enough Spider people.
Yeah.
How's he been around for years?
Well, this is the thing. So
he can't be a boy anymore, can he? If he's been around.
Dan Slott's saying it's a character that has been in the Spider universe for a long, long time, always been in the background.
That'd be like Silk, though, wouldn't it? Where she was bitten at the same time.
Is it not another fucking clone? Is this?
Well, so the rumors are it's a clone, or the rumors are that it's Peter from another reality or whatever. Or...
It's wearing trainers. It's a Miles clone, isn't it? That's got to be Miles Morales.
Well, I was going to say, like, we have Miles. Why do we need Spider-Boy? Like, Miles is great, and he represents a lot more than just another character. So just keep Miles.
So, are you getting Spider-Man 2099 vibes from the costume? The kind of the design at the top.
Yeah, it is very similar.
It's a weird one, isn't it? And is that 2 additional eyes on the side of his head?
Yeah.
I mean, if he's been around for years, I'm pretty sure someone would have spotted that by now.
It's gonna be the spider. The spider
you're right.
The spider transforms into part man.
Yeah.
That would be
proportional strength of a
really
man,
funny.
isn't it?
Yeah.
I really hope it's that now. Like, if that happens,
if it is that, I take back everything I said. I love it.
Now, the only thing what's he on there on the cover? I'm looking at the proportions and the size of the character now. Is he tiny? Is he in like a spider size?
It's a poster or graffiti or something on, is it?
Like a skate park.
That looks like a pigeon wing or something, isn't it? Like flying past him. So it can't be, can it?
Christ only knows. Anyway, I have to say, I'm what's that? Check the top left of the book. It says Marvel Spider. Oh, I think he's answering Fuzzy. Yeah, I think he's answering Fuzzy. Yeah, Fuzzy, mate. It's the latest run, issue number 7. This is a variant cover. I think the actual cover doesn't have a picture of the character on. Okay, guys, moving on to now what is probably I would imagine going to be a regular segment of the show.
Neighbors. Everybody needs good neighbors. That's when good neighbors become good friends.
So stupid.
So when I asked for news, can you guess which of our esteemed panel sent us this slide?
GP, I know, is a big fan.
Actually, I'm a big fan of Home and Away.
Oh, fight.
No, Joe Mangle's a legend, so
oh, God.
let's just leave it there.
Von Hoot. What the hell is this? What the shit's this?
Right. So in London the other day, they had the final of the reunion tour over here, which was 15 dates on stage, and I was there.
All 15.
And all 15 of them. And they announced at the end of the show this image, which is the date they go back to starting to shoot Neighbours.
No,
Yeah.
Ron, it's finished. It ended.
No, it's
I
coming
watched
back.
the special and everything, man.
Is it getting a reboot?
Yeah, it's on Amazon. Amazon Prime freebie. Starts again on the 17th.
The same
Production
characters.
Yeah. Well, a lot of them. Yeah, a lot of the same characters. Paul Robinson's coming back. Can't wait. It'll be amazing.
Sick.
Yeah.
Now, is this not an April Fool's joke that you've said?
No, not at all. This was legit. This was a week Thursday.
This
This
is going
was
to be
announced.
like when we watch. This is going to be like that Power Rangers trailer where it's all in HD with all that Netflix money, isn't it? Like it's going to be Neighbours is going to be rocking it.
Well, the big question at the moment everybody has is, will they be on Ramsey Street? Because that's a real street, and they had
Everybody's
to.
saying it, are they?
Well, everybody that cares about Neighbours, like that's a real street, and they had to pay. I think it was something like 30,000 a month each house to shoot in that street.
Wow.
And so the question is, will they just build a street rather than use the old one?
Amazon will just build it.
Amazon will just build it. Where
I love that
Probably
those are
be
the
in
important
space.
questions people are asking.
these are the important
It's-
questions. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
It keeps me
I
up
mean-
at night.
I mean, I don't know about anybody else, but I feel frankly cheated. I was all in on the end of Neighbours. I watched the special. I listened to Kylie when she was prattling on about it, and that was literally like last weekend. And now they're back.
Are
Is
we? Are we
Oh,
going to
it
ignore?
just ended, did it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Are we
Oh,
going to
right.
ignore the fact that the owl said that's what keeps him up at night?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God. Okay. I mean, the chat is buzzing with the news. You've broken the internet tonight
Oh,
with
yeah.
this announcement. Okay, I'm very pleased for all of the Neighbour fans out there. That's you. I'm sure. What we'll have to do, Von, there's an idea for your channel. You could do you know like James did for The Last of Us? After the end of each episode, you could do a
Jesus
live
Christ.
show.
Or
where-
every episode of Neighbours.
every
It's on
episode,
5
yeah,
days a week.
Where I'm sure Luke and JP will be happy to come on with you.
Well,
You can talk about the episode. It'll be great.
there's 30 years. Time spent on YouTube.
Okay, chaps, moving on to what you've been reading. Just quickly going to canter through a few books here that I've been picking up. Fuzzy's just saying there's a housing development in Aberdeen that's modelled on the old Brookside Close. The
Hey,
picture's
Brookside's
full of-
coming back.
Oh Christ, Peter, man, shut!
It is.
It can't be, man. It's all.
It can't.
It is
really
the
be,
one.
surely.
BBC News, Jimmy Corkill and Sinbad. Brookside. Brookside's coming back.
Right, we'll do a special on that as well. So what have you been reading this week? We'll just quickly go over a few things that I've been reading. First of all, Harley Quinn issue 20. This was an interesting one. I'm not really sure what was going on, to be honest. Not my cup of tea at all. But basically, Harley had a bit of a fight with Two-Face and ended up in jail, and then ended up as a psychologist. It was shit. I wouldn't pick that one up.
Right.
Action Comics 1053. No Escape from the Necrohive. This was actually really pretty good. I enjoyed this one. This is all about I've forgotten what he's called. Corbin, the guy with the kryptonite in his chest, his heart.
Metallo.
Metallo, yeah. About Metallo basically being able to spread the Metallo virus
Ah,
into lots of people. So now there's tons of Metallos fighting. Has anybody read any of the current Superman run? No?
No.
Basically, it's a massive team book now. So there's about 15 different Superman characters all living in his house, basically.
It's about a Spider-Man.
Oh, it's crackers. There's some of the original Superman characters like Connell, the clone Superman. There's his current son. There's two kids that he's adopted from a planet he went and visited. There's the Chinese Superman. There's Supergirl. There's Steel. Yeah, it's diluted him like Spider-Man in some regards. in that you've kind of now got so many people in the same kind of power setting universe. That said, the storyline is quite interesting, and I quite like the art. So I have been enjoying the artwork. Action Comics, I agree. Action Comics is probably the weakest out of the. I'm waving back at Fuzzy. It does sound terrible, Fuzzy. You're right. The Superman issues, the standalone Superman issues, are pretty good. That's on issue 2 at the moment, and that's probably my favorite. There's an interesting kind of twist where Lex Luthor's in jail and is talking to Superman through his superhero, and has basically gifted him. LexCorp is a Superman agency. So there's all this kind of resource behind him helping him, basically, which is quite interesting. Ian Carter is just asking, have you guys been watching Clark and Lois? I know the new season's out, mate. I know it's up to episode 2 or something. I haven't seen those ones yet, but I loved season 1 and 2.
I don't think they're out in this country yet.
Yeah, if, a friend of mine sent us a dodgy link to them, but I haven't watched them yet. But yeah, you're right. It's not actually out in this country yet. But season 1 and 2 were great. I really enjoyed it. Some good action, some better special effects than some of the Marvel.
I've just started season 2 actually. I only started watching it like last week, and it's really good. I'm really impressed.
There's some good stuff in it. Yeah, there's some good stuff. I'll not spoil it for you, mate, but yeah, some good battles and things. So that's some of the stuff I've been reading from DC. Fuzzy, saying he's never read, owned, or bought a Superman comic in his life. Lots of people say that. Fuzzy, that I think he's a character that turns a lot of people off, but when he's written well, he's very, very good. Yeah. I'll send you some recommendations if you're interested, because some of his stuff is superb. You can't go wrong with Superman for All Seasons. That's very good, by Frank Quitely, I think it is. And also All-Star Superman.
Also Superman's a great one, yeah.
Yeah. If you're going back in time, For the Man Who Has Everything by Alan Moore is an amazing story. One issue, superb storyline. And Kingdom Come is one of my favorite storylines of all time, which is superb. Okay, moving on to Marvel books. This was a complete shocker to me. This totally threw me. Clobbering Time issue number 1. Didn't even know this was coming out. No. This is proper old school comic books, standalone issue. Hulk and the Thing get shunted to a different dimension where they fight monsters. It's that complicated. But it's just brilliant. The artwork was stunning.
Fun.
Oh, mate, you know what? For just an easy read, that was fun and was a little bit adult, because I have to say it's incredibly graphic. I mean, you can see from the cover there, they're not shying away from blood. Yeah. I mean, the first monster the fight is this giant kaiju thing, and basically Hulk jumps at it and punches his kneecaps out, and you see the blood and bone splat. It totally threw me. Loved every page of it. Next issue, they're fighting Wolverine, so that's always a fun one. Can't wait for that. Nice to see you, Rob. Thanks very much, bud. Daredevil. If you're not reading the current run of Daredevil, you are missing out. It is phenomenal. This is basically kind of the bookend to the Punisher series at the moment, where Matt Murdock is now kind of leading the hand. The fist. I get them confused. Hands the baddies, fists the goodies. And he's got his own little island where he's kind of rehabilitating criminals and things like that. And it's all kind of coming to a head. This is just a real cracking superhero read, worth picking up in trade paperback, I think, when it comes out. Any of you guys reading any of these?
Well, this goes to my pickup because I just picked up volume 1 today.
Oh, have you? Of Daredevil?
Yeah.
Well, we'll see it in a second, Pete, but you can't go wrong with Daredevil at the moment, I think.
I read the first volume of this run. It was very good. I have the second one. I haven't started it yet.
Yeah. Indies. So, God. I was supposed to be on the Killer Comic Show on Thursday, but unfortunately I got called off because one of the guys wasn't very well. But was supposed to be reading this book, Dead Romans. What a heap of shit. Honestly, oh my life. I wish I'd been on the show just to tell them how irritated I'd wasted minutes of my life reading this. The artwork's nice if you like that 300 kind of style. But I had to read it 3 times to try and figure out what the hell was going on. And I don't know if that's because the artwork was so kind of gritty and liney and the names were all interchangeable and just didn't float my boat. I'm sure for some it was a great read. For me, it just felt like too much hard work. Dynamite. Now, this is an interesting one. Rocket Man and Rocket Girl, right? So this is two people who strap rockets to the back. Now, thinking about other properties where people have rockets on the back, who do you think these guys are fighting? Nazis, isn't it? Germans, the government. It's basically the friggin' Rocketeer. This
Rocketeer,
I don't
yeah.
understand. I mean, it's literally the Rocketeer. That said, it was a good fun read. I enjoyed it. Again, a quite quick, simple read. I think it's just a one-off. I'm not sure.
Are they old characters or anything?
I don't know, mate. I don't.
Because surely someone's getting sued otherwise.
Well, I
Like,
would.
because that is.
I mean, it is literally the guy's got a rocket on his back, and the it's just
Is it like tongue in cheek, or like,
No.
what's the tone of it?
No.
Just play it straight.
Oh, it is a funny comic. The main characters are quite entertaining and stuff.
Yeah.
Don't get us wrong. I enjoyed it, and I would read more. But it is the Rocketeer, pretty much. The Ambassadors by Mark Miller. This was phenomenal. This was my read of the week. This is the premise of this. Basically, is this lady on the frontier has developed something that can give people superpowers. She's currently in. Well, I'll spoil it. But basically, she can give people superpowers, and she basically says, "I'm going to give 6 people superpowers, but it's the nicest people in the world. So not the most powerful, not the baddest, not the governments, but you've got to be a nice person to get the powers." And typically with Mark Miller, there's going to be some twists in it, I'm sure. And by the end of it, there's an incredible scene with this guy in a bar who you assume someone who's got powers, who basically gets attacked and then makes a load of people shit themselves, and then using his own words, so pardon my French, and makes their cocks go inside. So the penises shoot inside the bodies, and then the faces drop off, and that's the end of the issue.
Grand.
You just sold a book right there.
I mean,
Brilliant.
honestly, I mean, Andy's just joined the chat, and he recommended this one to us. It is absolutely brilliant. It really got us intrigued. I always love Mark Miller's work, and I always love Frank's artwork as well. So yeah, really interesting story. Looking into it, look into that one, guys. So if I was recommending any book of the week, I would probably recommend, if you're picking up 2 books, Ambassadors, stay well clear of Dead Romans because it's a pile of shit, and Clobbering Time, because I loved Clobbering Time for just a simple, straightforward story. So that's my reads of the week. James, Scooby Apocalypse. This looks intriguing.
Yeah, so this was like part of this Hanna-Barbera kind of getting into comics line back a few years ago, but it's sort of a what if. I originally thought it was going to be like the characters from the cartoon, but an apocalypse happens, but it's actually like an origin story for how they get together and everything. But basically, there's this like nanite virus that spreads around the world, and so they have to survive in an apocalypse. And really fun read, really sharp dialogue. Like there's a lot of really great stuff in it. I like the kind of the explanation for why Scooby can talk. He's like part of this kind of science program. And just really feels like it understands the characters, you know, like they all talk like how I think they would in that situation.
I mean, it looks a bit bonkers to me, James. I have to say.
I honestly give it one issue and see what you think of it, because I'm just finished issue 3 and like I'm loving it. Like I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, I remember when this came out, a lot of people were going on about it, saying it was a good read.
Yeah, like surprisingly, like it's not just a bad thing. It's actually like really well written. So
okay, I will have a read of that one, see what it's like.
Yeah.
What about the rest of you guys? Have you got anything you want to mention? Any reads that you've had recently? No problems if you have.
I don't have a read because it's technically old and I haven't read it yet. But I do want to give our friend Fuzzy a shout out because it came today. He pointed me in the direction of this Jurassic Park magazine for the original movie. So I will be checking this out soon. It arrived in the post today, and if it wasn't for him pointing me in the right direction, I wouldn't have it. So cheers, Fuzzy.
Very cool. I think I might have had that back in the day.
Yeah.
I seem to remember picking that one up. Very, very cool. Okay, guys, so that's some recent reads. Please do go and check some of those out and let us know what you think of them. Let us know in the chat if there's any books you've read this week that you want to recommend to people. Okay, let's talk TV and movies and a little bit about what we've been watching recently. So please be warned, there are going to be spoilers ahead. If you haven't watched something we're going to be talking about, please pop on mute whilst that slides up, and then come back to it when you finish talking about that one. So, first things first, Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Have any of you guys seen this?
Yep.
Nope.
Nobody else.
Nope.
Well, I wonder why it's doing not very well at the
So
box office.
This is
group of comic fans won't
absolutely
see it.
friggin' bombed at the box office. It's
Dead
But-
Fish just flopped.
do you know what? It was fun. It was mind switch off camp fun, with some good action in it and some interesting special effects and things like that. James, what did you think of it?
I really enjoyed it. Like, I think it's not as good as the first one, but like, yeah, I would say the special effects is definitely, you can tell more work goes into this than like Ant-Man, for example.
Yeah.
Thought it was really funny, like all the cast like delivered. My one main issue with it was I felt like Lucy Liu
Yeah.
was just awful, like so
Yeah.
bad in it, like one of the worst performances I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I don't know if maybe they'd swapped her and Helen Mirren's characters, maybe that would have worked a bit better. But she's just like emotionless, like, and she's a big focus of the movie. So that part didn't really work for me. And I think, like,
do you think she's a good actress anyway?
it depends on the role, really. Like Kill Bill, but then like she's kind of cheesy in that, but she's supposed to be. So I don't know. But like, yeah, I think you need.
Lucy Liu was great in like Ally McBeal days. I used to love watching that. She was a great character.
Yeah, I don't know. I think like you needed like an Eva Green or a Lucy Lawless or someone like that for that character, like to, you know, the evil kind of like Greek goddess kind of thing.
Yeah.
So like the villains for me kind of fell short a bit, but other than that, I thought it was a great ride, good fun. Like,
but this kind of leads, doesn't it? And again, like I said, spoilers for everybody, to the just the shambles that is DC at the moment. So since this film's come out, there's been all kinds of talk that The Rock kind of sabotage this in some regards, by not allowing certain people to cameo in it. And there's a cameo at the end which sets up basically Shazam joining the Justice Society of America, which was really quite exciting, and I loved the comedy of that particular scene. But you're kind of now just sitting here thinking, what's the fucking point? It's going nowhere. Do you know what I mean? A bit like I think one Hood said earlier on, or Pete said earlier on about Blue Beetle.
Yeah.
I've lost the enthusiasm because it's like, well, we're not seeing these characters again, are we? The only character in this movie that we're going to see again is James Gunn's wife. Who appears at the end.
I think Steve Agee is probably going to continue on, but yeah, I don't know. It's like, I think that's probably why, like, you know, we have a panel of 5. If this was more tied to another thing down the road, more of us probably would have gone to see it. So that's one reason. I think the first one like was successful, but not like a massive hit. It made like 400 million or something. So there's I think a variety of reasons why it didn't do well. I don't think it's The Rock's fault necessarily. That being said, I think this should have been a Shazam versus Black Adam movie.
Absolutely.
And then do Black Adam. You have Shazam and then Black Adam, and then they fight in this one. Like, I think that's.
See, the thing, I'd rather watch this than Black Adam.
Yeah,
it's better. It's better than Black Adam. I thought Black Adam was.
Yeah, I enjoyed the first movie, so I probably will watch this.
Yeah,
it's worth. It is worth watching. It's good popcorn movie. Fuzzy's saying that he's going to see this 2036 maybe.
There was one particular scene I was like crying, laughing. It was a Jimon Hanso scene where he's like in a costume you wouldn't really expect him to be in. That was fantastic. So some really clever stuff in it.
Dead Man is saying AWA Upshot Comics Black Tape miniseries first 2 issues have been great. Black Tape, is that let us know, Dead Man, is that the one where he's a heavy rock band person and he's died, and it's about his wife discovering a satanic shrine underneath the house? If that's that series, I'm reading it and it's very good. I just didn't know if it's the same series. That's how my brain works. Dungeons and Dragons. Right. Who's seen Dungeons and Dragons? Okay. Now, I went into this expecting it to be cack. Dead Man, sorry. Dead Man saying yes. Yeah, mate, it is a very good series. I'm enjoying it. GP, you're a bit of a D&D fan. So what did you think of this movie?
I thought the cast was really good in it, by the way.
Yeah.
Really excellent job, especially Michelle Rodriguez. I really enjoyed her character. I just thought it went on away a bit too much.
Right.
Runtime. It could have done with being about half an hour shorter.
Okay. Did you enjoy it, but?
Yeah, it's like it'd be one of them Sunday afternoon films for me.
Yeah.
Chilling on the couch.
It felt very much to me like an old school kind of back in your day.
Yeah, like an old
Christmas movie that you would all sit around and
sword
watch.
and sandals movie. Yeah.
What about you, James?
I was blown away. I absolutely loved it. It's basically Guardians of the Galaxy in a fantasy setting, and I think
that's how I felt.
it's got that kind of Marvel humor, but like almost all of the jokes land. I think, and like I think that's the right. Sorry,
There was one scene in it, and I thought, oh, it's D&D Avengers.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say what it is.
Yeah, I think like because Dungeons and Dragons, we have a lot of fantasy, like you have Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, and Warcraft, whatever. I think it was good to take this route with this and not like play it super straight. Like it's never a parody, but it's maintains a good sense of humor throughout it. Like the cast was phenomenal. I thought some of the action sequences.
Hugh Grant was a revelation. I mean,
absolutely. Yeah, fantastic. Michelle Rodriguez's character, I think, was definitely a highlight of the movie. And her action sequences were like mind blowing.
Yeah.
There's with Sophia Lillis, like a one take scene.
Oh
of
yeah,
her like transforming into different things, and it was like that was jaw on the floor.
So
for that
the scene that James is on about, and again, like I've said, spoilers, is basically the character who becomes the owl wolf can shapeshift into different animals. And there's a scene where she's escaping the prison and she changes into 5 or 6 different animals to get through, and it's just flawless. For a movie that really probably shouldn't have done well, I guess you would argue. I think it was cracking. Now, there's a bit, and you guys will know what I'm talking about. There's a bit where I literally grabbed my wife's hand and lost my shit in the movie. I was so ecstatically happy, and that's this bit where we get the characters from the original cartoon taking part in the trial at the end. And these guys, for anybody that used to watch the old cartoon, or obviously the cast from Dungeons and Dragons, the phenomenal. Well, I loved the cartoon back in the day. So I loved seeing these guys. I'm just hoping they didn't die at the end, because you don't really see what happens to them.
I was going to say, shit for them. They've been stuck in that world for years.
But it's interesting, isn't it? Because Hasbro owns this property. They literally just released the figures, which I've bought, obviously. They've now got them in a movie. I'd love to see a standalone movie with these guys. Show with them getting home, for fuck's sake. The poor buggers have been wandering around, the Dungeons and Dragons realm for years.
I think they did miss a trick, not having like a big cast, like actors for that. I think it would have been funny for like a little cameo,
Yeah, but I think I mean, in the D&D nerd community, no offense, Pete, these characters aren't particularly well liked by some.
Yeah.
So it was very much a cartoon, but the hardcore D&D people don't particularly like the cartoon, or some of them don't like the cartoon. So they're a bit mixed. So I think this was probably just to test the waters to see how it does.
I did like. I've never seen the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon, but the second I laid eyes on them, I was like, that must be the cartoon cast, because they're so like simplistically, like they almost look like cosplayers a little bit, like a bit better than cosplay, but like from the designs, I was like, yeah, that must be I said, Peter's going to be happy. I thought to myself.
I'll just go back about the thing you said about it not being played straight, the characters in the movie, and that's kind of the whole point of D&D. When you're playing a D&D game, is you're not going to go through it straight. You're going to have fun with your friends. You're going to have a laugh. You're going to have a giggle. And
obviously, like, teamwork is a big part of that, and every person in this feels like they need to be there to get what they what they're doing done. Fantastic.
Great movie. I would recommend you check it out, Luke and Von Hoot, just for easy view. In Von Hoot, I think you're the Magic Badger would like this kind of movie. If she likes fantasy stuff, it's not graphic, if you know what I mean. It's fun adventure, but it's still got a bit of drama and threat to it. The dragon scene's mint. Love it.
Yeah.
Worth a watch. Okay, moving on. I just wanted to very quickly touch on this. I watched this last week. This is The Black Phone, based on a book by Joe Hill, who is Stephen King's son. It was actually a short story in one of his anthology books, which I read a few years back and absolutely loved. And spotted this was on Sky the other day. Anybody seen this one?
Yeah, I saw the cinemas when it came out.
No, but I need to see it. It looks really good.
Good stuff. So, without going into too much detail, what did you think of it?
I really enjoyed it. I remember at the time. I think Ethan Hawke's incredible in it, and Scott Derrickson. It is Scott Derrickson, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Sinister. Phenomenal director as well. I think it had a good kind of. It's not really like it's almost not a horror. It's more of a thriller kind of film, you know, with some spooky stuff happening in it, and I think it's thoroughly enjoyable.
What about you, Luke?
Yeah, I've seen it. I think the story's better. I think
Yeah, no, I agree, mate.
better.
100% agree.
But it's still really enjoyable. Really good to see it put to screen.
Yeah, no, I'm with you because I kind of forced my wife to watch it, and I enjoyed the book better, but I thought this did really well. Greyman's just asking, it's the Black Phone. Greyman, Von Hoot, what did you think?
Yeah, I really liked it. I would say, how to say this without spoiling anything. There's another character that is also sort of supernaturally outside of the Black Phone.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a bit of a step too far to have something sort of unrelated. Yeah, and it did feel very Stephen Kingy as well, which is the other thing I thought. So I had no idea it was based on a short story by Joe King. So
I didn't know that.
So Joe Hill is Stephen King's son, but he uses the pen name Joe Hill because he didn't want to be associated. Well, sorry, he didn't want to ride on his dad's coattails, basically. Yeah. So he's the guy who wrote Lock and Key.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. He's got a whole host of books out there. Nosferatu is very good. 20th Century Ghost Stories is superb. And Heart Shaped Box, which is the first book I read that he did, is just it's superb. But yeah, I completely agree with both of your points, guys. I did prefer the book, but I liked this. But I even thought when I read, the character outside of the Black Phone, you didn't need her really. I liked the elements inside the house more. Now, Luke, remind us, because it is a long time since I've read the book. I don't remember his brother being part of the book. Was he part of the story as well? Living in the house?
No, I don't think.
I don't remember that.
Again, it's been a long time since I've read it. It's been a long time since I even watched the film. I watched it when it first came out.
I can't remember.
I don't recall. I don't think so. It felt like it was new to me when I was seeing it on screen.
So another one worth a watch again, but I would go back to, I think it was what James said. This isn't really a horror as such. There are some nice jump scares. There's a jump scare early on where I nearly cacked myself, I have to say. But yeah, it's a good watch. I enjoyed that one. I would recommend it.
Yeah.
James, you've mentioned these two to it.
Yeah, I had a 3 for yesterday at the cinema. I saw Pearl, Infinity Pool, and Dungeons and Dragons. So I had a double whammy of me a goth. Pearl is a prequel to X. Have any of you seen X?
No.
Not yet.
The horror film came out last year. Sort of a Texas Chainsaw homage, but it's like an origin story for the kind of villain of that movie.
Right.
And it's sort of like a throwback to. It's almost like an homage to like classic Hollywood movies like Wizard of Oz and stuff. Like that's kind of like a lot of the fonts and the way it's shot is sort of along those lines. But it's like a bit Joker-esque, I think, in terms of how like a character kind of has a slow mental, or a fast enough mental decline, and like these kind of big moments that happen to them. But an amazing performance from Meagoth, like absolutely incredible. Some really kind of shocking stuff in it as well. So if you like X, you'll love this. And it's a very different movie, but it's a cool like universe that Ty West is setting up.
Do I need to have seen X before I see this?
No, and I think I'd almost even recommend watching this and then watching X. Okay. Maybe like that'd be a better way to.
Because my daughter wants to see this, so I might go to the pictures. And
I know you could. That'd be awkward. Some scenes in it, I think.
Understood.
Yeah. But then again, definitely don't take her to Infinity Pool, which is this is Brandon Cronenberg, David Cronenberg's son, his newest movie. And it's I don't even know where to start with it. It's one of the most bizarre things I've ever gone to see. Like it's a lot of the imagery is very Cronenberg-y, kind of body horror and just a really like verging on porn at some stages in it. And it was weird because it was like me and 3 other guys on their own in the screen. All of us just sitting here watching this horrifically graphic sequence play out. But the story was interesting. It's like basically it's like this writer and his wife go on holidays, and it's in like a fictional country that are really strict on crime. Like you get executed for doing anything, and if you're caught doing something and going to be executed, you can pay money to like clone yourself, and then they kill the clone instead. And yeah, and sort of like it goes on like that. It was a lot of really unexpected turns. Like I didn't know anything about it going in, and I was kind of like, "What is this movie?" But there's some really good stuff in it. Like honestly, I wouldn't say I'd recommend it to everybody, but like
I have to say, I saw the trailer and it did nothing for us. Even the trailer had us confused. So
you might hate it. Like honestly, it's not definitely not for everybody.
Any of you guys seen either of these movies? Then
No, not yet.
I mean, you had Peter at porn. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
he's
definitely yeah.
Oh, both very graphic movies, but Infinity Pool was like shocking. Like I was
Some of the bits sort of remind us of. Have you seen the film Society?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, watch Society. They shouldn't. And
but like yes, so weird day yesterday. But yeah.
Okay, interesting. Now we know how you spend your days, James. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Swamp Thing.
Star Wars. So Mandalorian, latest episode. Have you all seen the latest episode of Mandalorian?
Yep.
Haven't watched one of them yet.
Have you watched the latest one, Pete? Have you seen this?
No.
Okay. Interesting. Probably, I think, the better of the episodes. Now, poor Luke and Von Hoot have sat quietly listening to us gush. So, Luke, I'll come to you first. Tell us about this episode. What did you think of it?
I haven't watched it.
Luke, thanks very much for your contribution.
But there's a reason why I haven't watched it, and it's because it's just not doing it for me this season. I've suddenly had this realization that it's not very good, and it's they're not doing good storytelling. Like I've said this before about the original trilogy and how it's embedded in us as youngsters, and we love it, and now it's just become content. But I just feel like all the time they're telling a story rather than showing us one. Like I feel like every character who turns up is telling us what happened or telling us what they've got to do, rather than just doing it and letting us see it. I feel like they're really dumbing everything down, and I get bored and I turn it off.
Yeah. You know what, Leek? I call you Leek there. I'm sure James will disagree, and I'm sure Ben will disagree. But
hopefully we can still be friends.
Yeah.
I hope we can. We can have these disagreements.
Yeah, no, you're right. I hear what you're saying, because I have to admit, though I would say this was probably, in my view, the best episode of this season. It's not been the best season so far. Von Hoot, before James jumps in, what did you think?
I would agree with that completely. It was the best episode this season so far, easily, probably. And I really enjoyed how it sort of tied up the lesser episodes into the story. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
It's not been as good as the other two seasons, but I did enjoy this episode quite a bit, honestly. Yeah. I mean, I still could do without the seaweed pirate, but otherwise, like it's.
I mean, JP.
Yeah.
You've not seen this episode. Just leaning into Star Wars more fantasy elements here. Would it surprise you to understand that you see that thing he's holding on to there of his starship?
Oh, that's his pirate's wheel, yeah.
That's his pirate's wheel. Yeah.
I really watch Ben Shaw, so.
Yeah.
What's your point, Peter?
My point is it's a fucking stupid. Oh.
Look, I'm a massive Star Wars fan,
and
this is just going over a little bit too much.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm down in it a little bit. I did enjoy it. I did enjoy this episode far more than the previous one, and I'm pleased we've got a narrative hopefully going forward now of where this story is going. James, what did you think of this series, and also tell us about this guy?
I'll start with this guy. So this is Zeb, who is one of the main kind of characters from Rebels. So he's kind of the beast of the crew. But a fantastic, really great character, and this is like probably up there as one of the biggest cameos we've ever had in a Star Wars thing. So like this moment alone, kind of for me, made this episode worthwhile. And we'll probably be seeing him in Ahsoka, I'd imagine, because a few of the characters from Rebels are going to be in that. But like I think I would agree that this season as a whole feels like a pretty big dip in quality compared to the last two. Like I think the first two seasons of Mandalorian are some of the best Star Wars out there.
Yeah.
And yeah, nothing in this has really been amazing, like or you know, a must watch. So I don't know, Peter, because I remember you mentioned when we were talking about Last of Us, and they were wondering concurrently how that's like an example of like some of the best things on television. That, and I don't know if it's because I'm comparing it to other things now, or I've just fallen out with love with Star Wars a little bit. Maybe.
I think if we're being really honest here and we're between friends, I think this goes back to one of the conversations we had about Marvel a little while ago. Me pulled my hands up about Marvel. That I think, and I think Fuzzy's kind of hit it on the head here a bit. That we almost, because we are fans of Marvel or Star Wars, we start to excuse all of the shortcomings. And for me, it really was night and day watching The Last of Us, which was the pinnacle of writing some episodes. And then you switch this on straight after, and it's like Luke said, it's almost dumbed down to a cartoony kind of. And I know people will say, well, that's Star Wars. You've got, well, no, because the Star Wars has still got to be well written, good action, you know, characters that make sense. And I think some of it just isn't now. But I would say the same for Marvel, mind. I would say some of the Marvel stuff that churned out recently has been crap as well.
Yeah. But I would also say, like, you know, Ben or myself forgive issues with things because we love it, thing so much. So just you know, it's a Star Wars thing. I love Star Wars, so I'm just enjoying it anyway. I think favorably of it anyway. Like I will say objectively, I think there's been a dip in quality. But I still watch this because I still love.
Oh, exactly. And I'll still watch every episode. Yeah.
I feel like it's Disney as a whole. You know, you guys were talking about Indiana Jones earlier, and again, I'm not excited. I mean, I was excited when they first announced all this stuff. Like, I was really looking forward to that Willow series, which has now been cancelled. And I think, well, why would I bother watching it? I love the original movie. I just don't think Disney knows how to sustain these franchises. They're all becoming very samey. Star Wars and the MCU shouldn't be the same. They should be their own thing, and they should work well. You know, there's all this world building, and like we get this really basic storytelling. You know, I'm struggling to get behind Disney at the moment.
It's hard, isn't it? Because I do think it's like night and day. And again, it comes down very much to personal preference and what you enjoy in a TV program and all the rest of it. Because I would argue that Disney's pushed out Andor, which for me was some of the best Star Wars I've seen in a long time. I've personally thoroughly enjoyed that. Now I know some people will say it's boring and you know it's got its issues and whatnot, but I'd rather have Andor than some of this. And I do worry, and again, it's a bit like some of the Marvel shows. Fuzzy's in the chat, so I'm hesitant to say She-Hulk. But episodes like this, or other episodes that have got poor writing, it's almost like I'll throw in a Zeb to distract people because they'll get excited about seeing Zeb and they'll forgive the rest of what's not being as good.
It's like, do you ever see in South Park? There's like a bit. I think it was about Star Wars, but it was like there's these things called member berries. It's like, I remember. And it's like when you throw that little nostalgia thing to just turn shit out, like, you know.
But this is what's becoming. Sorry, this is what's becoming the thing with the MCU. You know, I think I explained this again in the previous live stream that we did, where every movie isn't becoming about, what story arc are they going to tell from the comics or something that we love. It's becoming, okay, which new character is going to cameo or guest appear in this film? Yeah. And that's a problem. Like we shouldn't. It should be story first.
I agree. Look, I agree. So I think overall for me, guys, this episode was the best of the season so far. And I will, like James said, I will still continue to watch this because it's Star Wars and I'm a fan. But I can't say it's something that I could wholeheartedly say it's great or recommend it.
And also, like, nothing really happened. Like, it's a big battle, but it's a battle that, like, there's one bit of setup in one other episode for it. Like, so by the end of this, you could have not had that scene and not had this whole episode if you wanted to, you know?
For me, and I know I'm being a pedantic prick, but for me, it's the I know you've got to switch your brain off to the reality, but it is things like you've got a giant pirate ship, which is feckin' huge, you know. And let's be honest, 2 ships took out that entire ship. You evacuate a town and there's 3 people there, you know.
Yeah.
One ship took out the Death Star, Peter. You know, get with the program.
Well, yeah, you're true.
It's like
The episode before, as I said on another show, you know, the Mandalorians, first episode, they're on the beach and a great big fish thing eats them. This latest episode, they're on the beach and a kid gets nicked, and they literally say, "Oh shit, there goes another one. We'll never get them back." It's like, well, it doesn't make sense. Anyway, sorry. I'm going to be fun at Star Wars Celebration.
I think it's what do they call it? The sunken cost. Is that what they call it? Where you invest so much time into something that you don't then want to admit that it's gone downhill.
Yeah.
Like you invest so much time in these shows and you just keep excusing it and thinking it's going to get better, and it never does. I mean, it happened a lot with The Walking Dead.
Yeah, absolutely.
People just invested so much.
But going back to it, sorry for being negative. This was an okay episode. This was,
I thought it was pretty good. Like,
this was probably the best of the bunch, I think, so far. Fuzzy's saying it'll be interesting to see how people look at the series in 12 months' time. I don't think anyone will remember it, Fuzzy, if I'm honest.
Well, everyone will be on.
Really
everyone will be on to the next thing. Like no one's even the MCU now is so hard. If you were going to put that forward for your children, you know, between Iron Man 1 and maybe Endgame, you go, okay, you're going to watch 20 odd films, but it's not the same as when you used to sit down and watch the 3 Star Wars movies. Yeah. Like you're asking a hell of a lot from someone when you sit down and go, right, you're of age now. Let's watch the MCU. That most kids are going to say, no, thanks, I'm off.
So I agree, Luke, but just to jump into the chat here, because Fuzzy's made a really interesting point here, and it's something that boils my piss. So he received a DM last week for criticising it, and you can't be a real fan or else you'd be going to Star Wars Celebration. Now, we have these discussions, we have been for the last 2 years, and we all don't agree on stuff, and I think that's fine. And we always, I hope, come away respecting each other without going in a huff. But then you hear stuff like this, and it's just fucking pathetic.
It is.
There are people who are so attached to franchises that they can't hear anybody say anything negative about it. Now, there's a very prominent YouTuber, and I'm not going to say names, who I follow, and he's very much always kind of, you know, you've got to respect people's opinions and blah 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 blah, and yet every time there's an episode and anybody criticizes it, he kind of comes on and gives this whole spiel about how you can't be a fan if you didn't like this episode, and whilst I respect your opinion, you're absolutely wrong, you know. And it's like, just fucking grow up. It's Star Wars. Anyway, sorry, on my high horse. Sorry you received that DM, Buzzy. I think that's appalling, mate. Feel free to spout out whatever you want in my chat.
I won't send any more, Fuzzy.
Yeah. If anyone wants to contact me, to disagree about Lost, I'm always up for a debate.
Yeah, that's shit. I mean, we can all agree that that's cack. Fuzzy saying you rewatch the series all the time. He disagrees. That's interesting, Fuzzy. I very rarely go back and rewatch stuff.
See, stuff like the Star Wars and MCU TV series, I prefer to binge watch them.
Yeah.
Instead of going episode by episode.
Yeah.
I think that's how they're supposed to be, really.
Yeah. A lot of the Marvel stuff I would watch like an episode 2 or maybe 3 times sometimes in the weeks between, but I haven't been doing it lately.
Yeah,
really.
I don't think I mean, just with Fuzzy making that comment, I don't think I've gone back and rewatched any of the Marvel TV series.
Yeah.
I haven't watched any of them.
It's mad how, like, for some reason, I don't know why, HBO just seems like you have like House of the Dragon and then The Last of Us. Right. You know, that's why one of the reasons I'm excited for the It show, because I think it's going to have that level of quality. But Disney, there's such a wide gap of quality. It's crazy.
The only 2 things that I've rewatched, Marvel, Star Wars, or anything wise in a long time, is the Guardians Christmas special and Werewolf by Night. They're the only 2 things that I've given a couple of watches to,
because they're short.
Everything
like
else,
40 minutes. Yeah.
Right, mate. I rewatched Werewolf by Night. I have watched that one.
Yeah.
Rob's just saying there, this episode was great for tying everything together. The exception is the concept that someone can fly from the outer rim to the core, have a meeting, and back out in mere moments. Yeah, and that part, to be honest, and we talked about in the show the other day, that part just didn't do it for me. The meeting part, it didn't. I don't know.
I like the political intrigue, but it's you know,
interesting. Star Wars is always going to be a bit divisive, isn't it? I guess. I still love the originals, and it was always only 7 came out. Yeah, again, it's that nostalgia.
See, this is the thing though. So me and my kids, you know, my daughter's just turned 7 today, and my son is 4, and we watched Star Wars only a few weeks back, and we watched the original trilogy, and then the prequels, and then the sequel trilogy. And when you ask my daughter, who's 7, which ones she likes the best, she likes those original ones.
Yeah,
Right? And that's it. Doesn't matter that it's poorer in the special effects quality or anything like that. That's the ones that she likes.
Yeah, she has to say that or she's not getting fed.
Yeah. Rob saying he loves Star Wars, but he recognises rose tinted glasses. Yeah, absolutely. I'm the same with Marvel stuff, mate. Yeah, and it's interesting when you try and switch your kind of your fan brain off and see stuff, because I had that light bulb moment. Was it last year? I think on a show when we were talking about something, and I thought, you know what it is? I'm literally living in Marvel movies for the cameos, and I'm ignoring the story, and I'm getting excited because Howard the Duck showed up or something. Do you know what I mean?
No.
Yeah.
Well, this is like me. I make it very clear. I'm not a fan of No Way Home. And I'm one of the biggest Spider-Man fans going, but it's all just cameos.
Yeah.
Well, you're just not a real fan, I guess.
Yeah, I guess I'm not.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you love it.
I'm slightly worried now that I'm going to turn up to Star Wars Celebration next week and be kicked off or lynched or something like that. I'll have to delete this video as soon as we're finished. Pete, what the shit is this? What
This is a 1970s horror film, Mark of the Witch, which is up on my new channel, Destroy All Movies. You can go and watch that now. There you go.
So I've never even heard of that one. What's that one about?
It's a bit of a weird one, really. Starts off with a woman getting hanged for witchcraft in the 1700s and goes to modern day where she possesses a girl who's I'll leave it at that. Go and watch it.
Okay, looks interesting. What the hell is that?
This is absolutely brilliant. This is a short horror movie. Catch your breath. It's 2 lads going to this abandoned house, and it's a bit like a trope on Bloody Mary. Then this is the thing that comes after you.
That's cool. I like the look of it.
So
How long is it?
It's not long. 15 minutes, I think.
Okay, yeah, I'll give this a watch.
That kind of. You seen this one, Von Hood?
No, I'm in. I'll have a look.
Yeah. Okay, I like that one. That's my viewing when we're finished here.
And this is coming on tomorrow. Avengers Confidential, Black Widow, and Punisher. So this will be up on the channel tomorrow.
Excellent. Now, John Wick 4. I think most of us have seen it. Luke, you haven't seen it yet, have you?
No, but I'm fine for spoilers.
Okay, so John
Too
Wick
late.
4 picks up after the last one, where he's obviously been shot off the building. Spoilers ahead. I love this. I thought this was phenomenal.
Yeah.
I really did. It could do with having a little bit of time trimmed from it, I think. I think, as we said at the start of the show, Keanu is not the best actor, bless him. But luckily in this movie, he's kind of relegated to saying things like, yeah, and that's about it. But his action sequences, yes, I would agree, they're a little bit slower, are phenomenal. For me, there was some just mind-boggling sequences in this. The overhead scene with the Hellfire shotguns is probably one of the best things I've ever seen on the big screen. I just thought it was just
that was shot so beautifully.
Jaw-dropping,
Yeah.
So I love this. I love this movie from start to finish. I'd love a John Wick Punisher movie, but yeah, phenomenal. Start with you, Von Hoot. What did you think of this one?
All right. Full disclosure, I had been up for at least 24 hours at the point of watching this, and I struggled really hard by the last hour to keep my eyes open. I didn't fall asleep, but you know when you get to that point where you can't focus properly. That said, what I did properly watch, I did quite enjoy. Without going into spoilers, I do also have criticisms. Like, he's a bit of an asshole, isn't he? Like, he turns up to all his mates' places and goes, hello, mate. I know you're all going to die because I'm saying hello to you. But like, he still does it over and over and over again.
He doesn't say hello, does he? He says, yeah, doesn't he? I mean, that's, you know. But no, I hear what you're saying. He is a bit of a bit of a bell end. And you know, we're sat here talking about John Wick, and I've literally just slagged Star Wars off for not being realistic. This guy, he's well, he's not falling. He's jumping out of windows, bouncing.
He falls
out of
head
cars.
first into a van.
Yeah. I mean, down those stairs about 15 times, wasn't he?
Yeah.
The thing is, though, like when reviewing this movie, really all you need to know is if you've watched any Donnie Yen from the 80s through till now, you'll know he's cool as fuck. And he is awesome in this film.
Oh, yeah.
So just, Donnie Yen is everything. Well worth the price of admission alone.
I mean, to be honest, I would have spin-offs with him in just as the main.
Oh yeah,
He was-
yeah, no,
I
100%.
think we'll get that.
I
I
really
think.
want that.
Yeah.
GP, what did you think, bud?
Yeah, I'm going to agree with the doc there. Donnie Yen got me really excited for this movie. I've been a big fan of his since Ip Man.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just watch him doing a fight scene is absolutely brilliant.
I tell you who else I loved, and I don't even know the guy's name. I don't know if he was German or Russian or what. The guy with the gold teeth playing cards.
Oh,
That's Scott. That's Scott
That
Atkins.
guy. Yeah, Scott Atkins.
Yeah.
He was friggin' mint.
Yeah,
he could move, right? Couldn't he?
Basically the Kingpin. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was the shit Deadpool in X-Men Origins. Like he did the fight scenes. Like,
Did he?
Yeah.
I thought
Don't
Ryan
bring that
Reynolds
up.
was dead.
it was Ryan Reynolds,
Everyone's-
but he did that fight
Oh,
scene.
right,
He
got you,
stunt
got you.
double for that. Like that's
check out the film Ninja and what's the sequel called? Ninja Shadow of something or other. That's Scott Atkins, and he's brilliant in it. Like it's really good. He's quietly been building up this massive plethora of like proper B level action movies that are just
He's spot on. Okay, guys. So I think we can all agree that John Wick was a very good film. Yeah, we all happy to say you're happy with John Wick. Yeah, James.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I think this is one of the best action movies ever made. Top 5 for me. Just jaw on the floor for most of it. Like I can pull out 10 different action scenes I love. Like the nunchucks sequence is amazing. Like I said, the overhead shot, very kind of Hotline Miami style, was awesome. But I think even like outside, and the going up the stairs bit was great as well. But like even outside of the action, like I think the story was a lot better. The villain, I love Bill Skarsgård in it. I thought
he was really good in it, wasn't he?
there's a bit where like I like you, and it's just really
Like he was like a quirky,
Subtly.
creepy villain, wasn't he? He was just
fantastic in that supporting cast. Donnie Yen. I can't remember the Japanese actor's name, but he's in Mortal Kombat as well. He was great.
He's in Bullet Train as well.
Bullet Train,
I think.
yeah.
Bullet Train as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's just start to finish. I maybe it does go on a little long. I don't know what I'd pull out of it, but yeah, I think this is just amazing.
So I mean, it'd be interesting if you guys feel this or not. So I've seen it twice. So I went with my mates on the Friday night, and then I went with the family on the Saturday. And I guess in terms of what I would pull out of it is some of the fight sequences when you watch them the second time do take they are on for a long time. So even the overhead scene, which I love, it goes on for a long time on second viewing. So I don't know if I would trim some of the stuff off from that. I don't know.
I think that's why they're so impressive, though. It's like, this keeps going, like, and a lot of it's long takes as well,
One thing that I did want to bring up, and I'm going to try and do this without spoiling anything for anybody, but there is a death near the beginning-ish of the film, and that serves the audience for sort of being invested in people like getting killed. You're quite happy to see them die after that. The trouble I found was that it doesn't really do that for John Wick, the character. Like, and so his motivation isn't really there, I didn't think, for in the same way it is for the audience, because you're always like, you killed that guy.
Yeah. I mean, John Wick's motivation's been the same from episode 1, hasn't it? He's never kind of getting over the whole the dog and the wife.
Well, it's escalation. It's he had his revenge mission, and then someone comes after him for doing that, and it just kind of a ladder that keeps going up.
But like in terms of like a hero's journey, you sort of want to see some heroics involved, and
he's like, not, is he?
there's no motivation in that
But
way.
that factors into the story, I think, like where people are saying, like, "What is this all worth it? Why are you even still going? Why are you still doing this? You're just
That's
causing
true. Yeah,
death
I'll
the
give you
entire
that.
way." You know, yeah.
Okay, guys, I'm conscious Luke's not seen the movie, and we could gush about it all night. But I
Yeah.
have to say, for me, it's a superb movie, highly recommended. James, you're recommending? Yeah.
It's one of the best action movies ever made. Top 5, easy. The best American action movie I think ever made.
Okay. GP.
Yeah, definitely recommend this.
Okay. And Von Hoot.
Yeah, I genuinely need to see like the last hour again because I was well into it up until that point.
Literally, the last hour he's just falling up and down stairs, mate.
I do remember a lot of falling downstairs. Like I was like, "There's more stairs." Oh, again.
No, the finale is. Did that catch you guys by surprise? Because I didn't.
Yeah, I thought there'd be a fight, like an actual
Yeah.
fight.
I meant kind of like the shooting bit.
I
wasn't
really
expecting
enjoyed
this,
that.
like, twist at the end.
I saw it coming
Yeah, so did
20,
I, but
30 seconds before it happened. I was like, yeah.
Very cool.
like it was cool. It worked. So
So, guys, that kind of moves on because we've talked a lot about John Wick here, and I've got a love for action movies in general. And these aren't my slides, but I've nicked these from Tinternet. And I was kind of thinking, we talk an awful lot about comic book movies and superheroes and sci-fi, but I don't think we really talk about action movies. So, Luke, I'm going to come to you first. What are some of your favorite action movies of all time?
So do you know what? Just before I say what some of them are, you've literally hit the nail on the head about what I was thinking about this week, which is we do talk about a lot of other movies, but the problem that I have with action movies is that they all seem to fit a different genre first.
Yeah.
So, for example, I love The Matrix, I love Terminator, but those are very clearly sci-fi movies.
Yeah.
Or at least I would consider them sci-fi movies first over action movies. Then, of course, we have our superhero films, your police detective or cop things. I just feel like they don't read that the action movie is so broad and covers so many different genres.
Yeah.
That being said, my favorite is probably The Rock.
You can't have it. You can't have it, Luke, because that's mine.
It's a phenomenal film, and I'm not a fan of Michael Bay big explosions. I can't stand the Transformers films or the live action Turtles that he did, but The Rock is just near perfect. It's such a great film, and I love the idea that Sean Connery's character might actually be James Bond who's been locked away. It's almost serving as that kind of sequel to the spy genre. I love that. I love it so much. And Nicolas Cage, one of the first films I remember watching Nicolas Cage in.
Yeah, it's an amazing movie. It's a one I haven't watched for years. A lot of these films I haven't watched for years, but as soon as I was thinking about action movies, these three came to mind straight away. As much as I despise Steven Seagal, Under Siege is a masterpiece. The Rock is just phenomenal. And again, it's got that mix of Sean Connery, who I'll watch in anything, and Nicolas Cage, who I'll watch in literally anything. I mean, he hasn't even got to be in a movie. I'll just watch him. You know what I mean? And Con Air, I love Con Air as well.
Yeah, Con Air is a great show.
Yeah, brilliant film.
Yeah.
Great pick, Luke. Great pick, mate. We'll go to you, Von Hoot, because I've got a few slides for you.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I wanted to just, before we move on to that, I just wanted to touch on this and say how fantastic. You guys watch the Expendable movies?
Yep.
Seen the first one.
Yeah, it's probably the best. But I think this has done a real good job of trying to reinvigorate the action movie franchise and bringing some of those old kind of action heroes back into the limelight. I mean, even Chuck Norris is in the last one, I think, isn't he?
No, it's
For a small scene. So yeah, just wanted to mention that they are very cool films. Von Hoot.
Yeah, I mean, I think about action movies quite a lot, and over the years, I've managed to get it down to maybe 4 films I can argue are the greatest action movies of all time, and I can make a solid argument for Hard Boiled, Hard Target, and Police Story. Is the gist of it, and they're actually quite different as well. As you were saying about genres like the action film is sort of a medium as well as a genre. It's like, because you can deliver it in certain different ways. Like Terminator 2, for instance, I'm not going to argue that that isn't a brilliant movie. I just don't think it's quite as good an action movie as like some of these films. Like I would also argue that Die Hard is the fourth film that I can solidly make a good argument to state that that is the greatest action movie of all time. And it's, again, different to these three films. If you haven't seen it, everybody needs to see these films. But Hard Boiled is amazing.
Yeah, Hard Boiled's a great one. Yeah.
It's very difficult to track down unless you look on a certain streaming service that has a red button, because the people that own the rights to it have absolutely no interest in releasing it. Like people have been trying to get it out for years, and it's even been restored and everything, and they just don't care. I don't know why, but they just won't release it.
Out of curiosity, have you played Stranglehold?
I think I played the demo.
Yeah,
or, like I downloaded a demo for it. It was all right. I was vaguely interested, but never really, thought I'd get into it. But
yeah, just a cool continuation of the story, I thought, anyway.
Now, Police Story is like peak Jackie Chan for me.
Yeah,
like there's two frames of thought, I think, where like I would say that Drunken Master's probably his peak sort of kung fu movie, whereas Police Story is his peak action movie. So, and he does everything perfectly, and it has insane stunts, like as you'd expect. And there's stuff that you can't imagine seeing, really, if unless you're crazily well versed in violence. It's going to blow your mind. Like it's very,
he's phenomenal,
very cool.
mind, isn't he? I mean, Jackie Chan is just one of those people who, again, are watching anything. And the fact that I think he still does a lot of his own special effects. Sorry, his own action
His
and whatnot.
stunts. Yeah, he still tries. I mean, we're getting to the stage now where he's sort of a bit too old to do the stuff that he used to do, but he's a remarkable man. Doing those stunts is crazy. I mean, there's a bit of a myth to say that he never used stuntmen. He did, but he would usually get the stuntmen to do the stunts several times beforehand, so he could work out the peak distance to do the stunt. Then he'd do it.
He has his own team, doesn't he? That go on movies with him.
Yeah. And Hard Target is incredibly cheesy.
Yeah.
But it's like the perfect cheesy slow motion movie. If you cut the slow motion down to real time, I reckon it would half the runtime of that film. But if you zone in and you're locked in, that film is amazing. It's perfect.
See, that was my childhood Van Damme. Hard Target. Was it Bloodsport? Was he in Bloodsport?
Yeah,
Bloodsport,
yeah.
Those kind of movies at the time were just amazing. Just before we jump to GP and James for their favourites, got a few mentions here. Ian Carter's saying he loves Chuck Norris's cameo in The Expendables. It's incredible. Fuzzy, The Long Kiss Goodnight. Yeah, I love that. Navy SEALs. God, I haven't seen Navy SEAls for years. Commando, classic. I've never seen The Raid. I need to see The Raid.
No, you do need to see The Raid. 100%.
Yeah.
Let's just end the stream and watch The Raid.
So yeah, I need to see that. But Commando, Fuzzy, was probably one of my earliest remembrances of watching a movie, because back in the days when I used to go on holiday with my mum and dad, I don't know if they still do it in Spain and places like that. There was normally like a bar, and they would have an area where they were playing dodgy recorded from the cinema movies, so the parents could get hammered and the kids could sit and watch movies. And I remember watching Commando in some Spanish bar and just being blown away by it. Phenomenal movie. Ian saying any Bruce Lee film, absolutely good, absolutely. Fuzzy, Face Off, Nicolas Cage and Travolta at their absolute peak, I would argue. On the toy show we mentioned a while ago, someone's started producing 2 1/6 scale action figures of the Face Off characters. Love that film, absolutely love it. Ian, let's not forget Jet Li and IP, man, superb.
Yep.
Jet Li isn't in it, man, is he? It's Donnie Yen film.
Yes, Donnie Yen.
It's Donnie Yen.
Man.
Yeah. He's in Fearless, which is pretty much the same character as well. Like, I think Ip Man is the same character in Fearless.
Rob saying Raiders of the Lost Ark. Yeah, absolutely. Harrison Ford's a good action star in his own right as well. It's a great movie. And the
Lethal Weapon's a
Lethal
classic.
Weapon.
Yeah.
Diplomatic Immunity. Yeah, love that. Love that movie. Okay, JP, give us some of your favourites.
Yeah, well, Commando, top of the list. Rambo, First Blood.
Oh, Rambo, First Blood.
Yeah, and Predator.
Yeah.
Top 3.
Okay. So here's how different the world is these days. I remember seeing Rambo when I was maybe 12 or 13 or something like that, and loving it. And I was absolutely blown away by that knife he's got with the compass on the bottom and the screw and blah, blah, blah. And at the time, I just joined the Air Cadets, and we were going camping. So my dad bought us a knife, and he bought us a fucking Rambo knife. You know what I mean? To take camping with 13-year-olds. It was like, are you shit?
Yeah.
I took it. I did take it, yeah. But yeah, superb movie. Have you seen the latest Rambo, guys? Have you seen the
Yeah,
last one?
That's a bit hard work, to be
It
honest.
is.
I do like the
newest
fourth one,
stuff.
though. I think the fourth one is tremendous.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard work. There's some good action in it again, but yeah,
Definitely.
it is hard work. James, how about yourself, mate?
Yeah, for me, like, you know, the John Wick franchise is definitely up there. Hard boiled, it's a good shout. That's a definitely. But I think the Raid series, particularly the Raid 2, is like the best action sequences ever.
I need to get on them.
Like phenomenal. Like the choreography. It's I think it's called like Nanda Parbat. I think it's like an Indonesian fighting style. And it's just how quick everyone moves. Like Iko Uwe, who's kind of shown up in a few other things since then, is the lead guy. But yeah, just incredible. Like the Raid 2, especially the first one is like very simple. It's like a SWAT team going up a building, high-rise.
The first film is essentially Dread, except with martial arts.
Well. I think Dread was slightly inspired by the Raid, yeah. But the second one is a bit more of like a kind of crime movie with like a mobsters and stuff like that.
I would argue the second one suffers from too much plot, really. I mean, it has amazing action, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But as a narrative, I think the first one's probably stronger just because it's simpler.
I think that's fair. I think some people would say the same about John Wick, but it's a bit more comic booky as well. There's almost like this, like a Hammer guy and a baseball bat boy and Hammer girl, and they're like kind of assassin brother and sister.
The way the Raid 2 ends, like the very ending of it, I won't spoil it, obviously, but I'd love to see a Raid 3 starting from that point.
I can't believe we haven't got one yet. Like, to be honest,
would be amazing. How they could pull that out of the bag.
Is this true? What Fuzzy's saying?
Yeah, it is.
Gareth.
Not that I doubted you, Fuzzy. Just I'm never
No,
sure.
it is. I think Gareth. It's Gareth Evans. I think is his name. Or Gareth Evans.
I think you're right.
Yeah. Gareth Evans. Yeah.
Right, I'll have to get on these movies, guys.
He moved to Indonesia and like learned Indonesian to do the movie. Like, it's made for $1 million. So just incredible, though.
Was it that Jason Parker guy, Fuzzy? Was that who made that movie? I've heard of him. Yeah. Good stuff. Is that your recommendations, James?
100%. Like, everybody should watch those movies. If you're
I need to get onto the Raid.
Yeah, I'll have to check that one out.
Okay, guys, as we're talking about action movies, I couldn't help, as much as I'm not keen on him as an individual, I couldn't help putting something up about this guy. Is he probably, would you agree that he's one of the biggest modern action movie stars? I mean, some of the stunts that he pulls off himself are just mental.
I think over time he has solidified himself in that position. He was very much a Hollywood pretty boy to begin with, and now he's made this for himself. He's chosen to do these projects.
He's turned himself into Jackie Chan for the West, basically, by doing these mental stunts.
Yeah. I mean, he's literally, some of the stuff you see him do, I kind of stop and think, that's not. And yes, obviously the safety ropes and blah, blah, blah. But then you see some of the physicality of some of the stuff he's doing. I think this guy is friggin' nuts. I mean, arguably I'm going to go as far as to say it's probably one of my favorite movies of all time now, is Top Gun 2, Maverick, which I thought was just phenomenal.
Absolutely, yeah.
Watching the documentary about that and about how he's actually flying those jets, because I just thought it was special effects, but no, the vast majority of the shit he's doing himself. It's just
Well, he's
amazing.
a Scientologist, you know, so it's probably that
Yeah.
virgin
no.
blood being
Yeah.
pumped into him or something.
He
Yeah.
may
Don't get me
be-
wrong, he's a lunatic, but
Yeah.
he makes a good action movie. Like,
He may be an action hero, but sadly, he will never get an action figure due to scale.
That's right. Yeah, he definitely won't allow them to use it.
Yeah, he won't. He actually won't. Yeah, that's the whole thing.
because
Isn't
he's
it?
It's because he'd be too short if he does him in any
It's only
scale
2
to
foot.
other characters.
But yeah, phenomenal. Fuzzy's just saying here, biggest star, film star of the modern era. Yeah, I agree, mate. I really do agree. Rob is saying Mission Impossible series is great. I absolutely love the Mission Impossible
100%. Yeah.
series.
they're
Yeah.
fantastic.
I've got a moan here because I am an old kid. And it's about music, because we all know how important music is to movies and things like that. I mentioned to you earlier that I'd seen the new Indiana Jones trailer at the cinema on Friday night. They've altered the tune. So at the end, that iconic Indiana tune is slowed down. So it's recognizable, but it's not the Indiana Junior.
Surely that's just a choice for the trailer. That's not.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
but
would have
then
thought so.
they've
More epic, like.
done the same with the Mission Impossible ones.
Are
For
they
me,
not showing you that he's slowing down?
well, that's kind of
not
what I
the point.
thought, to be honest, Luke.
Yeah.
But for me, Mission Impossible is the same. When you hear that music kick in, that's when I get excited.
Yeah.
But again, the trailer has altered the music again, so it's much more laboured. and it's-
Every
Mission
trailer
Impossible,
does that
They've
though. Like,
always done that. Like, there's always been different versions of the
Dun,
Mission
dun.
Impossible theme. It's the
Yeah.
basic beat.
Yeah.
But,
But
like, I
you've
mean,
gotta
they got Limp Bizkit to do it for the second one,
They
didn't they? So,
It
They
is.
did. They did, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mission Impossible, phenomenal series. And again, like I said, when that music kicks in, that's when I start moving on my seat, because I don't know, there's something about the atmosphere. I love it. Fuzzies, I've said that one already, sorry. Ian Carter, Jack Reach was an awesome
Yeah.
series. Yeah, phenomenal.
Yeah, enjoyed that one.
Maybe not earnings, but the number of projects and length of his career. Yeah, I agree. And Rob saying, I'm fine with him taking elements from the classic theme and making it a new one for the new film. Yeah, I just, for me, it's got to have that beat, you know, that recognizable kind of excitement to it. But yeah. Okay, guys, so that's a modern movie star. I'm going to come back to you all individually now. And I want to know who the greatest action star of all time is. Hasn't got to be one of these guys on the screen. These are just some of the ones that jumped out. Who do you think is the best action movie star of all time? And we'll start with JP.
Yeah, I'll go straight for Arnie.
Arnie, get to the chopper.
Yeah. Get to the chopper.
That was me, Arnie impression.
Yeah.
Arnie,
Yeah, definitely Arnie.
good stuff. How about you, Von Hoot?
there's nobody more important in the world of action cinema ever than Bruce Lee. Like, he's very, very important. So it's got to be Bruce. As much as I love everybody else, like,
Yeah. I mean, I didn't. You know what?
Yeah.
Bruce Lee didn't even. He's been in some phenomenal movies, hasn't he? How about you, Luke?
I think the internet would say Chuck Norris. I think he's become a.
how many of you have actually watched Chuck Norris's movies? Just
So
out of
I've never
curiosity?
Walker, Texas Ranger. I love the
I
fact
loved that show as a kid. That was
the fact that
amazing.
he picks people up to punch them down.
Yeah.
Like it's just fantastic. But he's
I am
become
just curious.
such a parody and an icon of himself.
Yeah.
I've
I
seen
haven't
a fair few, but I'm the only one that I know who has actually seen Chuck Norris's movies.
He's not done a movie for a long time, but has he?
No, long time. Yeah.
How about you, James?
Well, modern day would be Keanu, but I was also going to say, as Mr. Hoot said, Bruce Lee. You know, Enter the Dragon alone, like it's just one of the best action movies ever made. You know, and like the most important figure I think in action cinema in history. You know?
Okay. Yeah. Good stuff. I mean, for me, it's hard to pick one, isn't it? But I'm going to go with Sly Stallone. I think he's been in some absolutely iconic movies.
Oh, he's wonderful. Like he genuinely is an amazing actor as well. Despite
I mean,
sounding completely ridiculous in every film that he's in, he's still
but,
great.
I mean, he's fought through that, hasn't he? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He wrote Rocky, didn't he? In Soul.
Yeah.
Phenomenal series of movies. Rambo, some of the best movies, you know, of all time. Demolition
Man.
Demolition Man. It's amazing.
Demolition Man, I haven't seen for years. I love that movie.
All of that being said, I would love to see Arnie come back for a King Conan film.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, give it to me. But but it has to be handled just right. Like I would love that. But yeah.
Have you guys seen the original Death Race 2000 with?
Yes, a long time ago.
Yeah, it's amazing, absolutely amazing. Well worth a watch if you can find the original. Rob's saying he loves them all, but Bruce Willis gets him to watch. Gets me to watch a film despite the amount of shit. yeah, I agree, mate. Bruce Willis movies are always you're in for a good time, don't you? Even some of the later Die Hards, which, be honest, were a bit ropey at time, were superb. When Chuck was born, we were yeah, very good. Chuck Norris is 83. Wow, is that right?
If you want to watch any Chuck Norris film, watch Lone Wolf McQuade. It's really good. I highly recommend that one.
Fuzzy, Stop and My Mum Will Shoot was my jam.
Brilliant film.
Oh, I love that film. Yeah.
That's the thing. I love when these guys do the comedy, like Arnie as well, doing like Kindergarten Cop.
Kindergarten Cop.
You know, I love when they can take that other side to it all.
Tremendous.
Here's the thing with Stop or My Mum Will Shoot. My younger brother's got ADHD, and when we were kids, that's all he would watch over and over again.
Yeah.
So do you hate it now?
I really do. Yeah.
I mean, I love the movie, but if I was made to watch it all the time, that would be painful.
It wears you down.
Good stuff. Okay, guys, that's been a really interesting chat about action movies. So thank you very much for that. We've got some good recommendations for people there. Anything you want to mention about action movies before we move on?
I can't believe I forgot to say Mad Max Fury Road, one of my favorite movies ever made.
Original Mad Max, James.
Can't one of my but the originals are good as well. Two is fantastic, and Beyond Thunderdome, but Fury Road is my jam. So yeah.
Two that pop into my head that maybe you haven't seen: In the Line of Duty 4, which stars Donnie Yen and Cynthia Khan. It's just come out on Blu-ray. And it is fantastic. It's from 1989, and I highly recommend it.
Is In the Line of Fire the Denzel Washington one at the first movie?
Yeah. This is In the Line of Duty. Yeah.
All right.
4. Okay. You don't need to see the other films as well. They're basically not connected. It's just the fourth one. And obviously, the Ong Bak movies with Tony Jaa. They're amazing.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah.
Warrior King. They're Thai movies. They're amazing.
Old Boy, does that count? Did you call that an action?
No,
one?
really.
Neo-noir,
that's more of a thriller, I would say.
Yeah, okay.
Like it has an action scene that is iconic, but it isn't really an action movie.
Yeah, okay, that's right.
Good stuff. A few comments just to jump onto, guys. We've got Dead Man suggesting Clint Eastwood for the Western. Yeah, love a bit of Clint. Yeah, superb. See, tell you what,
that's what I think Arnie should do.
The Western.
Do slow westerns, because he can still pull a gun, can't he?
So just jumping back to me pushing Sly Stallone. Oh, it wasn't even Sly Stallone talking shite. It was Arnie. He did a one recently where he was I'm saying recently, about 5 years ago, where he was the sheriff in this remote little town somewhere.
Yeah,
and there was like a drug
with Johnny Knoxville.
Really good. Yeah, that was a really cool film.
Yeah.
And just talking westerns. Westerns not really a genre I go into that much, but I watched the Tarantino Django Unchained.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's brilliant film.
That's his best movie, I think. So.
I loved it. Samuel L. Jackson is phenomenal in it. Fuzzy's just saying Rush Hour. Absolutely love the Rush Hour movies. I heard that they're making a third one, or fourth one. Sorry.
There's been rumors about that forever. So if it ever happens, yay! But
I quite like them. Quite like the Rush Hours. Ian Carter there saying Dirty Harry was good for Storm. The two Mad Maxes will never be beaten. Yeah, absolutely love the original Mad Maxes. Rob Fat Stacks. I love a good Clint Eastwood flick, especially Big Ridge. Oh, hey, didn't even talk about war movies because they're action movies. You know,
I'd nearly put that in a separate. You can almost do a
Yeah.
separate thing about that.
Mel
Yeah.
Gibson. What's that one with Mel Gibson, which is just absolutely amazing?
I
About
mean,
Nam?
this is what I was saying in the beginning, right? Because a lot of the action movies that you guys have picked are like martial arts heavy, but I would put that as a martial arts movie. So picking action is so difficult.
Well, I would argue like a kung fu and martial arts movie is slightly different to an action movie, which is sort of what I meant by Drunken Master and Police Story being different. They both have Jackie Chan in, they both have kicking, but they function slightly differently, and they're more modern usually. Action films tend to be more modern than period pieces.
That's the one I was thinking of. Fuzzy We Were Soldiers. That is a breathtaking. It's heartbreaking. Absolutely heartbreaking. It's about Nam, and it's phenomenal. Rob saying here, Kurt Russell, underappreciated, absolutely Big Trouble in
Escape
Big
from
Trouble
New
in
York.
Escape from New
Yes,
York,
Trouble.
yeah.
Yeah.
Tango and Cash. Now you're talking.
There's a film.
Tell you what, superb action series we haven't talked about. Fast and the Furious. Huh?
Now, people, why? Listen, right? Fast 5 and Fast 7 are like amazing, like proper awesome movies. You know, the rest of them are like,
I love the Fast and the Furious films, but I love them for what they are.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense. They're by no
They're
means
silly.
great movies. And I was thinking about this the other day. I worked out why I like them. It's because Vin Diesel, Dominic Toretto, plays his character like everything matters in the film. Like he plays it like it's serious and nobody else cares, including the audience. Like, so he's deadly serious all the way through the films, but everybody else, including the audience, is going, this is bloody silly, isn't it? Like,
I just can't. I quite liked Vin Diesel in the what are those ones where he's blind?
Pitch Black.
Yeah, I quite like those, but I just can't get away with them as an actor. Anyway, guys, we've hit 2 hours, so we need to move on. This has been really interesting because I think what we're discovering is we're all movie fans. So perhaps we should do some shows where we'll look at particular areas, genres or whatever, and talk about those at some point, because this has been quite interesting. Let's chat about what we've been buying recently before we'll wrap things up. Fussy's just saying what I feel about Vin Diesel. Vin Diesel acts like I perform horse surgery. So what have we been buying recently? James, what's this? This looks stunning.
Only thing I've picked up lately, I've mostly been selling or trying unsuccessfully to sell things, but I was in an antique shop the day before yesterday and came across astonishing issue 56, I think. But one of these will pop in, like these kind of Atlas era Marvel books. One of them will pop into that shop every now and then, so I always tend to pick it up.
I love these books.
You get a lot of luck with these, don't you? You've had a few of these.
Yeah, it was this one was 20 quid, I think, up to 20 euros, so it'd be like 17 pounds or something like that. And yeah, I mean, I love the covers. I'll get a few on the wall or something. Those kind of classic cheesy sci-fi horror comics, you know.
I love it. And actually, do you know what? For an old book, that doesn't look bad, Nick.
Yeah, no, it's a pretty good. I'd say probably 3.0, 4.0 or something if I got it graded, but I'd probably just keep it in the top loader.
Very cool. Very cool. Luke.
Yeah, I love me some Jurassic Park, and these are parts of the Hammond collection, which is like the higher end scale for the action figures, not something that you can find just in your local Smith's toy shop. However, I know someone who owns a small little vintage toy shop just down the road. And he had a load of them. I saw him in the background when he posted a video on his Instagram account. So I rushed down there to pick them up. I absolutely love them. They're phenomenal.
I mean, the detail on them is pretty spectacular. You must have a fair dinosaur collection now, Luke.
I do. And it's almost becoming my new collection. You know, I kind of go through like the Marvel Legends and the comics and this, that, and the other. I've really been into the NECA stuff. But now I'm leaning towards these dinosaurs, especially as we approach summer and I can get out and do some toy photography, as it were.
Yeah. Do you have a real dinosaur bone?
I don't.
You can buy them shockingly cheap, like 50 quid. I'll get you one. Like
I've got lots of replica pieces, but
you can buy dinosaur poo on eBay.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on.
Lush.
So
Cool.
this is
Beautiful.
a figure I've picked up I picked up a lot of figures this week, but this is probably my favorite. Now, I'm doing a video about this guy. This is the Batman 66 Cesar Romero Joker. Got him for very cheap for a 1/6 scale figure. This is a non-licensed figure, so it's not being kind of officially made. Bought this for, I can't remember, let's just say 150 quid. It's around about that.
Wow.
And at the same time, I picked up what is being touted as the premier figure, the in-art Joker from Dark Knight Returns. The that superb. I've forgotten the name of the actor.
Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger.
Dark Knight. Yes.
Yeah. So picked up that figure, which is supposed to be the figure to get, and it's nothing compared to this one. This is, I think, the best Joker release that's been out. The costume is phenomenal. The head sculpts, you get 3 friggin' head sculpts with this thing. The articulation, as you can see there, you can bend him and move him in any shape you want. He's just stunning. I absolutely love him. So very pleased to have picked him up. I've got 66 Batman and Robin on pre-order, so they'll be coming soon. And apparently they're going to be doing the full line of villains. They're going to be doing Riddler.
Nice.
Oh, that'd be brilliant. Yeah.
Frank Gorshin Riddler would be great.
Yeah. The thing I really like about this guy is, you can probably see it in the picture frame image there, he's still got his tash.
Tasha,
So-
I was going to say,
so,
still his tash.
Yeah.
There'd be
Left the
fury if they got
Oh,
rid
yeah,
of the tash.
absolutely,
Like, I think.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So love that one. Really do like that one. Another figure I've picked up, and again, got this for ridiculously cheap because it was unboxed. This is the Infinity War Doctor Strange. Been after a Doctor Strange for my collection for a little while. So I was pleased to pick this guy up. Like I say, unboxed, but came with all of these bits and bobs and all the rest of it. So yeah, he's going on with display as
So will
well.
you be using the accessories for this one? Because I know you're not a fan of the,
No.
the bits and pieces.
I've played around with them, and I just don't like the look. I'm going to have him posed just with his hands, kind of as if he was casting a spell. Kind of thing. You get 2 different Eyes of Agamotto. You get that one, or you get it with it open with the green gem shown. So I might put that in. I don't know. But yeah, I'm not a fan, Luke, of all of these kind of plasticky looking effect pieces. Okay, so that's what I've been picking up. GP, have you got anything to show?
Yeah, so I just got this today. It's Volume 1 of Daredevil by Chip Zdarsky.
Oh, nice.
So you lot have been chirping on about it for ages, so I thought I'd delve into it.
Very cool. I think you'll enjoy it, mate. I really do think you'll enjoy it.
I've had a flick through and it looks absolutely brilliant. So,
I would get the current Punisher run as well if you can, because that is.
I know, yeah, I need to pick that up as well.
How about you, Mr. Hoot? Oh, he's gonna. Oh,
Jesus
man.
Christ.
God almighty, sweet baby Jesus.
Oh no, we're not done.
Crikey.
Oh shit, there's more.
But also, like,
Can I just say before we move on, we have a bit of fun with you, Dr. Von Hoot, about your love for Ramsey Street. But I have to say, we all have our own little things that we're geeks about, or we're fans about, and things like that. And it really does fill me with joy to see people who are really happy and enjoying their hobby. So I love it. I really do love it, mate. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
yeah.
this is a safe space. We love you for
Yeah.
it.
believe me, I don't care either way. I'm very proud of the crap that I like. I like it. Like, talking of stuff that I like, I got this
Oh, look at that.
Oh, very nice.
Nice.
from basically I opened it on my channel a couple of weeks ago, and it had a massive Newton ring all the way down it. And I sent it back to Sad Lemon, and they've sent back a new version, and it looks amazing. Like I love it because her hair looks awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at.
Yeah, I personally like the shading on the gloves.
Yes, the gloves. It's all about the gloves.
Right, what big eyes you've got.
Yeah,
Exactly.
stunning, absolutely stunning. Right, before we move on, I just wanted to show 2 other things off. So I had a little AOK the other day, which is not something that happens very often. So I was absolutely moved by that. And I got this from the good doctor. This is Space Precinct. This is Brogan. I've never seen one of these on card, so I am over the moon to have this in my collection. Space Precinct is a bit of a guilty pleasure of mine. Some might say it's cack. I thought
it was amazing.
Yeah, so I love Space Precinct. So over the moon to have this in my collection. So thank you very much for that. And I also got this. This is the not tested on animals. This is the limited edition comic that Dr. Von Hoot supported. And I've got some merch in the back there, some stickers and things like that. So absolutely over the moon to have that. I mean, the only thing it does prompt us to say, Mr. Doctor, sorry, I do apologize, Doctor, it's very hard to get that. Dr. Von Hoot, is that I love this merch with your face on it. I only wish there was a way I could get more merchandise like that.
Well, if you pop over to my spring store, you can have things like this.
Tremendous, absolutely tremendous.
So, funny story about that action figure. I've had that for about 8 or 9 years. It's just been sat on my shelf, and occasionally my friends would come in. They'd look at my Blu-rays and my stuff, and then they'd come across a Space Precinct figure, and they'd be like, "Why the fuck have you got that?" Like, you're the first person that's ever said that they liked Space Precinct to me. So I thought, I'm jumping on that. He could have it. I bought that in a charity shop for £2. And of course, my answer was, you see an old vintage, like carded action figure from the 90s, you jump on that. It doesn't matter whether you like it or not.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely. Yeah, without doubt.
But now it's found a home with someone that actually cares, which is amazing.
I love it. I love it.
The only person who cares.
Yeah. Mrs. Von Hoot there saying she's picking up the rest of the rain is again, it's a Joe Hill book. You gave her the first issue and she read it earlier this week and she loves it. Yeah, so I would recommend picking up the story as well, the novel. I think it's one of his short stories and I think it's 20th Century Ghost Stories. Brilliant series and well worth reading. Fuzzy saying I've been waiting 3 weeks for two comic deliveries from Forbidden Planet and Sad Lemon. Yeah.
Shite.
Yeah, I'm not going to get into it online, Fuzzy, but I don't hear good things about Sad Lemon at times. In terms
Sad
of
Lemon they can take their time for stuff. Yeah. It does take a while.
And Rob's just saying, you say that coffee tastes better when it comes from the spiral. Yeah, filtered specially via the Hoot. Yeah. Okay, so thank you very much, chaps. This has been tremendous. Just to mention a few things that we've got coming up in the next few weeks. First of all, I've really enjoyed doing this. I like this format of show, so I think we'll do these more often. I'm not going to say we're going to do it every week because my schedule is all over at the moment. But we will try and put them in. And I think what we'll do is each one will try and tailor to do a section on a kind of movie kind of area or something like that. So thank you very much for doing that. Coming up on my channel over the next month, this is April's menu. So on Monday, we've got Let's Talk Toys, where we're talking all things computer games, action figures, 1/6 scale figures, and smaller scale figures. So looking forward to that. 10th of April, we have got our Star Wars Spectacular Top 3, where we're going to be looking at our top 3, it'll be top 12 Star Wars scenes. So this isn't, we're recommending movies, this is individual scenes in Star Wars lore and mythology. So it hasn't got to be connected to the movies, it can be things from comics, cartoons, and all the rest of it. I've seen everybody's picks, and there are some great picks there. And we've also all picked a worst scene as well. So that's going to be really interesting. After that, we've got Geeky Art Attack, where we're going to be doing characters from the Turtle universe. Now, JP, you're up for that one still, hopefully?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. James, you're not going to be around for that one, are you?
Nope.
Okay, so I might be looking for someone to step in and help Efren with the comparing duties. So I shall spread the word and see if anybody wants to help out. After that, we've got... I keep laughing every time I say it because it's... It's bonkers. It's absolutely bonkers. So we're going to be doing Spotlight on Scooby-Doo. We're going to be looking at Scooby's history, media appearances, merchandise, and recommending some reads and watches some cartoons to watch for you. So all kinds of stuff happening with that. Luke, what you got coming up on your channel?
Yeah, so Hydra Collectibles, where we let our geek flag fly. I'm trying to get back into weekly content. I kind of let things slide a bit. Haven't really had access or time to get content out that regular. But yeah, I'm going to do my best to try and jump back on that. So please do head on over, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for a lot more content coming your way.
Good stuff.
And yeah, over at Go Collect, every Monday morning, I release a article, usually about Spider-Man comics, actually. That seems to be the pattern that has been cropping up every now and then. And this week, I took a look at some of the worst villains that Spider-Man has come across.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed that one, Luke. There are some strange characters in there, to say the least.
There are, yeah. Do you know what, as well? Like, I've come to learn as well, just because I say that Spider-Man has come up against them, people seem to think that it has to be first appearances within Spider-Man. So I'm getting a lot of comments going, "Oh, but this villain appeared in Fantastic Four," and it's like, you're missing the point.
Yeah. It's a great article. Really do recommend you go and read those because they are very, very. And you've been doing these a while now, Luke, haven't you?
Yeah. So my next week, this Monday actually, is my 30th article that I've been doing. Wow. So I've been doing it for 30 weeks.
Superb, brilliant stuff, Luke. And we're recording next week a Making Sense of Pence.
We are,
Good
yes.
Stuff. Excellent. I look forward to that.
Not going to say too much about it, but it's a special one this time.
Yeah. I'll have to dig some books out. James T.
Yeah, so I've been pumping out the shorts lately. So I've
that sounds wrong on so many levels, James.
Right. You have filthy minds, you guys. Yeah, I've been doing kind of ranking videos. I just did Batman video games. And then I've kind of the odd random one, like a Scream, or if I come out of a movie, like a new movie, I'll usually do one of the franchise. And then I throw up some kind of little gameplay clips if I'm playing something like the Mad Max game I was playing recently. I think it was a bit underrated, so I just did a couple of clips on that. So that's on the shorts, and I'll be back to the longer videos soon.
Yeah,
at some point. Yeah.
Good stuff. And we're going to be doing some shorts or some videos from Celebration next week, aren't we?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'd imagine so. Yeah.
Me and James are sharing a room, so we'll live stream when we get back from the pub on a night time.
For only fans.
Yeah. GP, what you got coming up, mate? I think I showed your coming up slides earlier, didn't I?
Yeah. That's for the Destroy All Movies channel. Multiple shorts a day on the normal channel, GP Venom. Let's Go GP. There's normally one or two shorts a day on there. I do a quick review once a week on the GP Venom channel. Just trade paperbacks I've been picking up, which will be moving from a Friday to a Sunday. So
tons of content, great stuff. And again, congratulations on hitting those 1Ks.
Yeah, thanks very much, mate.
Dr. Von Hoot, what have we got coming up on your channel?
This week on Monday, we've got an unboxing of a AOK from Mr. Rob Fatstacks of Comics, which I'm very looking forward to. And then probably on Friday, a Wrestle Crate unboxing, I would think. It could be one of a few things, honestly, but I'm leaning towards that. I'm just 7 subscribers away from 200 now. So
good.
I'm thinking about what to do for a giveaway for 200 at the moment. And that's it. Good stuff. I'm off work for two weeks, so I might be able to pop into live streams a little bit more this week.
Good stuff. Stuff. I've got a request, and I do apologize because I've watched your videos, mate, but I don't think I've seen this. But quite often people do collection tours, and I know you've got a comprehensive collection of Transformer toys, which I would love to see. So a request for a future video, please, is a little tour of your figures. Yeah, because that would be very cool. Very cool. Okie dokie. Well, thank you very much, chaps. Really have enjoyed having you on the screen tonight. Thank you to the chat. We've been jumping. There's been loads of great involvement, so really do appreciate that. Thank you very much, and we will catch you on Monday for our toy show, and we'll probably do one of these within the next week or two as well. So thanks very much, everybody, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.